Welcome everyone to the Sunday Speedrunner Spotlight. Uh, Hopefully someone's here. At least
Nobody's here.
we have the HAXor here, which
I
is
am
all that
here.
matters. All right, there we
That
go.
matters the most anyway,
Matters the
I would
most
imagine.
because it'd
Yeah.
be weird if I had no one here
Yeah.
to
Be a
talk
little
to.
weird.
Like my first episode where I talked to myself and it was awkward. Anyway, hi HAXor, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm awake after being confused by the time change because
True.
today or last night was daylight savings where you lose an hour and then cry.
Yeah, for me, I don't, but everybody else's time changes. So
Oh,
it actually does affect me because of that. And that's
oh,
really it.
yeah,
But um yeah, for like meetings and stuff, obviously.
yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the hard-hitting questions as we always do, which
Sounds good.
are just, your basic bitch stuff. But um, obviously, to start off is how'd you get into speedrunning, and then we can go through the timeline.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so getting into speed running. That's a good question. I honestly was basically out of stuff to watch on YouTube.
Hmm, that's surprising.
um yeah, and I got recommended the Fast 4-2 video actually.
Hmm.
In particular. And I watched it and I thought it was interesting. So then I watched all of Summoning Salt's videos that he had at the time, which was a lot less than now, but still a decent amount of videos to watch. And Mario 3 was one of the videos that I was really interested in because I remember this game from my childhood. It was my favorite NES game. Didn't get to play it a ton because we didn't own it, but when we rented games for the NES, it was usually one of them that got rented.
Hmm.
And yeah, saw that Mitch was still, or he streamed on Twitch because I have been watching Twitch streams since like 2012, so a really long time. Like back then, Shroud wasn't even Shroud. Shroud was like Emmy Clips. He wasn't, yeah. So it was a really long time ago, and so I was like, oh yeah, I watch Twitch all the time, so let me check this out. So I checked out Mitch. It was like the end of 2017, I think. It's like November, October 2017, and he was in the middle of his warpless grind to get the world record back and get his first sub 51. So thought it was really interesting. Was curious if I could do the same thing, and he ended up having a competition for people to like get into speedrunning Mario 3 in March of that year. So I ended up entering that. I was actually starting to practice the vanilla game, but entered that instead. Did really well in the competition, and then moved on to the vanilla game in April.
So that was 2018 then, March and April.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you started like right after me then, because I remember
Yeah.
I think the 4-2 video
Right.
was the first video that came out when I started, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
I remember freaking out because they show like West for 1 second in that video, and I'm in the chat with my mod badge. I was already modded for some reason. God
Okay.
knows why, but I was like, there I am. Look, Gary, there I am.
hmm
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't think you'd really started doing runs by the time I started watching. That was like right at the beginning for you as
I
well.
started in October 2017.
Okay. Yeah.
So like right when you started watching. It's funny because like so me, you, when Takate was on, we all started at like the same time, and it was all because of Summoning Salt. I think. Oh, did my internet go out?
I don't
It
know if
did.
Stewie was
Oh,
doing Summoning Salt, but he was around the same time as well.
oh,
Um, and like, yeah, it was like Stewie, Teeks,
I think my internet
Jacoby
went
was a
out
little
like
later.
I said
Oh,
it would. I didn't.
nice.
I didn't. You froze for a second, but and OBS went out. But
Let's see.
that's weird. I don't know. You see, I don't know why this happens because I swear when I'm not streaming, oh, it's not reconnecting at all. But Discord's
Hmm.
fine. What?
Yeah, it just went
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Hmm.
Did it just show like the not like
Yeah.
this thing? Okay. Well, it should be up again.
Yeah, I think
That's
it
so weird though
just went
because,
up. There we go.
you know, I don't want to like just complain about my shitty internet, but it's always the same thing where I barely drop frames and then it just goes out for
Yeah.
like 5 seconds and OBS doesn't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like obviously the recording isn't really affected, but
Yeah.
it's still just I've never been able to figure out why it happens. I guess this is gonna
It's
be like
because
Takate's episode then.
yeah, I'm sure it has to do with something like you're connecting wirelessly or whatever. I
Yeah.
remember that.
I
So
can't get a wired
yeah,
connection with my setup unfortunately. So I
yeah, that's probably what it is. Yep.
yeah, someday. Anyway, I was I was talking about how you, Takate, and I all started around the same time, and I think it was all because
Yeah.
of Summoning Salt. And I don't know. That's just cool how many people started because of it, and are now in videos of his. I know you can say that as of literally yesterday, because as of recording this, the SMB3 100% video came out that you
Yeah.
helped with.
I did, yeah. A little bit. There's a couple of my clips that are in there, mostly for meme things, and
Yeah.
I guess my name does appear on the leaderboard too, although I'm not sure, like, some of the leaderboard snips might not be 100% accurate because I didn't submit any times
Mm,
since I got that 110, my first 110. So I think the first time that was submitted like last year for
hmm.
me. I didn't even submit it. It was like
Well,
the one.
maybe they had the right date. If they can submit it with the right date if someone submits it
Yeah,
for you, and then it will show up if you use that
yeah.
feature. So,
Well, I had like before the one that was submitted, I had like probably 7 other PVs to
oh
be
well, okay.
honest. So yeah,
Yeah, you're
but
one of
yeah,
those don't submit anything.
yeah, I don't. I mean, I did recently because I knew the video was coming out, so I don't know. I didn't know if he was
Oh,
going to
that's
use
why,
like
huh?
the leaderboard or whatever. So I did submit a couple. Um, Plus, I mean, they're pretty good. I guess they got me in the top 5, but yeah,
Yeah. I'd say they're pretty good. I don't know if
sort
my
of.
opinion matters, but
The most recent one is, I mean, if we take the second half of the run, it's a great run. It's a 109. That's what
mm,
I'll say. We just don't, the first half is the real the real problem. Really, just and of the first half, really just World 4. Just don't feel good about having 12 seconds to save there. So
was it a
yeah.
movement or
Uh, what even happened? Did I take damage in this one? I might have taken damage in World 4.
mm,
And it sucks because the previous PB actually had a bunch of time to save there too, because I didn't get the fire kill the boss because the boss was just like doing his own thing, I guess, that day. I don't know. He gave me the
oh,
wrong pattern.
well,
So
all right. So going back to
yeah,
2018, uh,
yeah. We're
you
jumping ahead. I'm
just
sorry.
yeah, it's fine. This is all unscripted, so we just go on
Yeah,
tangents and enjoy not knowing what we're doing. At least that's how I see it. Anyway,
sure.
so when you started vanilla, what were you doing?
Yeah. So I was doing warpless for a while, probably all of 2018, almost all of 2018 for sure, maybe all of it.
Hmm.
I ended up, I think what happened is I was on warpless until I got down to a 52-minute time, and then I played some 100% and got like, thinking it was like a 113, 111, maybe it was a
Mm,
111. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did for the most of that year anyway, was just played warpless, learned that run. My first goal was sub hour. Uh, I got that in a couple weeks, so
Okay.
wasn't a very good first goal. So I was like, all right, we'll just try to get like a 57 or something. And then I got that pretty quickly as well. It was before GDQ. I had like a 56 or 57 of that year. So it was GDQ 2018. They had the All Forts race there. I just remember that.
Oh,
Um,
with the stomp.
yeah. So I went to that. I didn't officially go to it. I didn't have like a badge, so I didn't actually like go in, but it was
Oh.
at the hotel because I lived in Minneapolis at the time. So there are a bunch of people there that I figured I would meet because I was, pretty active in Mitch's community. I think it was already, was I a mod in his channel? I might have already been a
Hmm.
mod in his channel. I'm not really sure.
I was
Um,
at that event too, but I know we didn't know each
yeah,
other yet.
no. Yeah, I met a fair number of people there. But nobody obviously knew who I was yet because I hadn't done anything
Hmm.
uh noteworthy, I guess. I was just kind of like, a learning player.
I
Meeting,
essentially was too,
yeah,
back then at
meeting
least.
like Pooh and stuff and whose PBs were much better than mine at the time. I remember that was something I looked forward to, is beating
Hmm.
his PBs when that happened. That was something I felt pretty good about. I remember looking through the lists as I was, doing that grind and just getting excited as I was passing people I recognized, like, beating TMR,
Hmm.
um, Lack Attack, I think had a run on there. Uh, Grand Pooh Bear, obviously. Darby, and eventually, I mean, that was further down the road, but
Yeah.
this time was pretty good. He had almost a 51. Um, so yeah, I kind of hyper focused on Warpless for a while, just basically going through until, and I would up this always happened. I get like a massive PB, and then I'd have to be like, okay, shit, I have to reconsider what I'm doing here and just relearn everything again because I'm gonna have to up the
Mm-hmm.
stakes to beat that one out. And I remember going through that process and I was shocked in certain levels how much time I was losing to Mitch. Like it didn't even make sense to me how I could be losing so much time, but it was definitely happening. Like 6F2 was a good example. Um, just
Right.
being able to get that fast P speed at the beginning, maintain it to the point where you take damage and keep it all the way through that room. I don't know if you remember, it's the fort where you fly through.
No, yeah, I know it.
Yeah. Um, and just you'd be shocked if you bump a wall how much time that loses.
Well,
It's an
that's
absurd
full
amount of
of
time.
conveyor belts that are always
Yeah.
pushing you the other way too.
No, that's the third fort, the second one, the one
Oh,
where you
there's
fly.
three.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
the okay. There's
Yeah,
the
you're talking about the carpet.
platform, the
Yeah.
ice, and then that one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the ice
Yeah,
one where it's
yeah,
just
that's
like
the one where if you
uh
slow down even for a second, you can't get the
yeah,
P speed thing, and it runs out before
yeah,
you make it and fall.
yeah,
That,
that too.
I know
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
You know, I actually died in that fort on my first 52,
Mm-hmm.
which is hilarious.
Unsurprising. That stage is
Yeah.
a slippery one, literally.
Literally, yeah. I remember being pissed off and then I got no hands and then got a 52. I was like, okay. And then my very next PB, I didn't die there. And it was like, that was the main difference. And it was like a 50-second PB. Is absurd.
No hands?
I think I got no hands. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure that'll maintain itself throughout the rest of your history. Surely.
Yeah.
No hands is
Yeah. For sure.
free.
Right. Yeah. I definitely didn't only get two no hands runs after that to get to 252 flat, and then didn't get a no hands run. That was a PB again until last year. That
Hmm.
definitely didn't happen. Yeah.
No, not at all. World 8's free.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So,
As Guru can attest.
yeah, well, yeah. As everyone knows from the video yesterday, World 8 is so easy.
Yep. Yeah.
Definitely no issues there.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I mean, I've kind of hypothesized this in the past. I'm like, why are there so many mistakes in World 8? Like, yeah, of course, people are nervous, but like,
Mhm.
you're nervous in 7F2 as well. But I feel like that tends to go better.
Yeah.
So there's like some other explanation at work there as well. And I think it's because you go like in Warpless specifically, you go over 6 minutes, I think, without playing an actual level
Mhm.
if you get no hands. And even if you get a hand, like you're playing a really abbreviated level that's not very hard. So
No.
I think that's probably why. Because I think if 8-1 was the first level in World 8, I bet you would hardly see mistakes there. I just really do. Um, it's not that hard of a level, but
Well,
it seems to just I don't know what it is. There's something about it because it's really just a regular level, but it is really punishing when you make a mistake in it. That's kind of the difference, I guess.
I think it's hard to get peace speed in 8-1, especially like the end where you
Depending,
have to duck
yeah.
under that cannon, and if you like unduck, you'll like
Mhm.
come to an instant stop because Mario like clips through to the right.
Mhm.
It's really annoying, and then once that happens, everything's all fucked up. So you're like, well,
Yeah.
what do I do? Especially for newer players, they'll get all confused if they were practicing faster strategies.
Yeah. Well, you see people like you even it's not a big deal if you don't build the P speed. It's just I see people like panic when they don't build the
Mm-hmm.
P speed and they start like flopping around and crap and it's just like, all right, just it's fine. Just do jumps like in normal platforming jumps, right? Just yeah, I don't know. I have a process of if I don't get P speed, I pretty much do the same sort of stuff in there. So it tends to work out pretty well if I don't get it, but it's just you know yeah, it's a weird level. I don't know how else to describe it. Like
Mm-hmm.
even star stratting it, like I'll see people rub walls and lose it
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, it's weird. Or you'll randomly clip in the bullet bill launcher. Um
It's hard because you have to push left a lot at the beginning.
yeah,
That's why
yeah,
it's
I guess
hard.
that's true. Yeah, I guess that is
Pressing left
true.
is so cringe.
Yeah,
And then
you got to
8-2
do it a
has the
lot.
sun,
Hmm.
which, most people aren't going to have the hammer suit to kill it. So, and it's RNG
Yeah.
when it decides to go down. So that's also problematic, as we've seen
Yeah.
in the past.
I don't the way I do it, I don't know why. I don't if I jump to the first note block, I never get hit by it. Like uh never. It's
Hmm.
just like the rhythm of how I do the level just lines up perfectly. I've gotten hit if I jump off the second note block, and I know Chikubi has like a he's got like a strat to figure out which one you should do. But
Hmm.
like I just do the one and I'm like, well, I guess if I get unlucky. I mean, I think I have taken damage jumping off the first note block, but there's something weird that happened in the level. I was like faster than normal or something. It's really odd.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to argue the point that World 8 is hard, so it makes sense that everyone
Yeah.
screws it up because then the fort's not
Yeah.
any easier.
Yeah. It depends on how you do it. I actually like the fort. Once I get to the fort, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say it's the
I'm like,
easiest level out of the non-auto
yeah,
scrollers.
yeah. As long as you don't miss the door cycle right
Hmm.
at the
Yeah.
end of it, it's whatever.
If you don't clip
Um,
the P switch.
yeah. And I've come up with some different things to like because I've had those things happen that happened
Hmm.
in my 52 flat. I I think I clipped the P switch, so I missed the first cycle.
Mm,
Um, and then I had to do Bowser's Basement to get a PB. Um,
really?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
I had to get it first try, and I got a first try, so I PB'd by 2 seconds. But yeah, I've come up with different like backup strat since then, where you can use the previous door to like clip through the wall in case you
I
miss
love
it.
doing
Like,
that.
yeah, it's like a free attempt.
Hmm.
Um, if you're not going to make it in time. Uh, Actually, I've gotten to use it a couple times in randomizers, so that's where I came up with that. I'm like, wait a second, why don't I just do this? Because I can just clip in the wall, and you can even do it as small Mario. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I've gotten to do that in a couple matches to save a one cycle, including the randomizer finals last year. That was a pretty good one. So,
But you have to enter that other door on like the rightmost pixel, right?
sort of,
Oh,
yeah.
sort of.
It's I don't think it's exactly the right most pixel, but you definitely have to be pretty far right, and sometimes it won't let you through the wall still. I don't really
Hmm.
understand it. Um, it's very weird. Yeah, I don't really get it, but
Mario 3
it
makes
seems to
no
work.
sense. That's what I've
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe it's I don't know, subpixel, I don't know. Probably uh maybe to do with your momentum when you enter the door, who knows. Yeah, it's really odd.
And then Bowser's Castle's also hard. Especially, I don't know why sometimes when you do the one-up clip, you duck, you're facing right, you do it all, and he just doesn't go in. It's like, okay,
Yeah, I
cool,
think there's
cool.
some subpixel stuff going on there. I really do, cuz
Mm-hmm.
as you mentioned, sometimes it just seems like it just doesn't work,
Yeah.
and it might happen a few times in a row. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I do the same thing there every time. Most of the time it works, and every once in a while it doesn't. So,
Yep. I've definitely had my fair share of bullshit there.
hmm,
And then the statue room to keep P speed's pretty hard.
yeah, I have that statue room has screwed me over a lot. Actually, not in PB attempts, but in tournaments. You'd be surprised probably at the number of races I've lost because of that room.
I don't think I'd be that surprised.
Well, the thing is, though, it's like a 50-plus minute run in Warpless, or
Yeah.
like more in 100% right. So, like, coming down to getting P speed in that room is really odd. But
Yeah, okay.
I I tend to like, I don't know what it is. A lot of people, when they race me, uh, like I notice it's just like I can't ever get separation, even when I'm playing well. Just something in the run happens where just the game's just not going to let me get separation. It's like I'll get 7-1 first try, they'll get 7-1 first try. I've played like 5 worlds and haven't made a single mistake, but I'm only like 5 seconds ahead because I had to fight an extra hammer bro or two, or I got runaway bro. It's just like shit
Mm-hmm.
like that always happens. I'm like, I'm playing so well, just let me win. you
Well, the
know
game doesn't care because it's full of
yeah,
RNG.
yeah. And then
And
you
of
get to
course
the
that's gonna
hands.
happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you're trying to get to the hands. Like, that's always my mindset in a warpless race. Is like, let me get to the hands with a chance. And ideally if I'm ahead, that's great, because if we get the same number of hands, that means I stay ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I try to, like, the reason it upsets me is because I want to build that one hand buffer. So if I build that one hand buffer, that means 90% of matches will give me an outcome that will allow me to just win the race, right?
Yeah.
Like over 90%.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, but yeah, it sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and then I get two hands and someone gets one, and it's just like, fuck. From that point, there's nothing you can do. You're just hoping they make a mistake. It's the worst feeling. I almost
Yeah.
always make mistakes after that, because I just like,
Stopped
I'm like,
caring.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it's
Well,
over.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that
But
game's just way too brutal for
yeah,
stuff like that. That's why I
mm-hmm.
haven't run it too much because I'm someone who hates RNG so much, and that's all that
Yeah,
game is. That's like its defining feature
yeah,
is uh you can play really well, but fuck
yeah,
you. Doesn't matter.
yeah. I think Mitch, said it really well in his interview at the end of the video yesterday,
Hmm.
in that like you never ever get a run in that game that perfectly represents who you are as a player, except for his one run. Like it
Yeah.
legitimately, it's like it's the greatest run that's ever been done of that game at the end, and I really think it's been underrated. Uh, how good it is. I don't think people realized it, and I'm hoping with the video yesterday they're going to realize like the 100% record's like one of the best NES world records.
Hmm.
It's fucking impossible to beat. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. Yeah.
I remember the day he got it. I like tuned in the stream and I saw whatever it was, -18 out of World 7. And I was like,
Yeah.
how is that even possible?
Yeah,
That
because it was
doesn't
so
make
hard to get a
sense.
one. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so hard to get a
doesn't make
109,
sense.
right? Like, and you're just going straight to mid 109. Okay.
Like, I can barely comprehend a sub 109.30, and he has a 109.38. That's
Mhm.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Uh,
I I mean, most runs you just can't get there. It's just
yeah, you can't.
even if all the RNG worked out in World 7, you just can't get there.
No.
You know, you got to have he had that fantastic start in that run, and that's really the thing that the World 5 RNG, that's the improvement. Like
Hmm.
that's really where it is in that
Like, what
run,
was it?
and a
4
little bit in
movements of
World 8.
4?
Oh yeah, he had terrible RNG. He can probably save like 8 seconds there.
Just from
If
RNG.
Yeah.
So yeah, the difference between like the only difference between his run and sub 109.30 is World 5 movements, and that's like the only noticeable improvement in that
Yeah.
speed run.
And a better World 8.
Yeah.
Not that his
Yeah,
World
he
8's
did lose
bad.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a bad World 8,
No, it's
but
not.
it's not like he could have a better World 8. Yeah.
Hmm. I know he went from like -18 to -13 or something.
Yeah.
Did he get like hands? Like, was there a major?
Um y- yeah, I think it was something like that where uh it could have been something like that, but also I think he missed like P speed in 8-1 or something. There's something that happened in World 8.
Okay.
Um it's still like on the line of a time that you're like, okay, I'm happy with
Hmm.
having this World 8. Which is for me, it's really like at the line, which is like 1022. So he's got a 1022. Sub 1020 means you were cooking pretty good. Because if you get three hands and you don't get Wrangless, it's hard to get sub 1020 in
Yeah,
that world. So yeah, uh, he's pretty close to that line.
definitely. All right, we're talking about Mitch a lot. I think we're supposed to be talking about you though, but
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
I
that's
mean,
just SMP3 talk.
it yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with me as well because
Yeah,
obviously we've done a lot of stuff together, uh,
yeah,
GDQ runs, a lot of co-op stuff. He's a good friend of mine, taught me a lot of different things. So, I mean, it's part of the story, I guess, too.
yeah,
So, mhm.
yeah. So we went on a pretty long tangent again, but that's all this show is, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Let me
y-
hop 1 second. I gotta go grab something. I don't want to. I don't want to forget it. Hold
oh,
on.
okay. Well, how's it going, everyone? Yo, thanks for the bits. Why are my alerts not working? Damn it. You get this whole
So yeah,
layout and you want it to
I
work.
I threw some caffeine in the freezer, and I didn't want to forget it in there. So
Mmm.
I need some energy today.
Yeah, I lack energy most days. So I understand.
Yep. Um, but yeah, anyway, I think we were talking about the beginnings. Kind of went through, yeah, warpless for the first year. That's kind of the focus.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have a goal in mind. I got to a certain point. It was just um, let's get a 53, and then got a 53. All right, now they got a 53. Let's get a 52. Then I got a 52.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I haven't really played 100%. So then I played 100%. And I think I might have only gotten a 113 and then went back to Warpless. It was pretty quick.
This is all in 2018, is it?
I think it was. Yeah.
Because that seems like really quick improvement. I mean, I know that's like all you really ran then, but
Yeah.
still, that's like for a game like that where it's so long and there's so much RNG, that seems really quick.
Yeah. I think my first 51 was like right at the beginning of 2019. Let me,
Really? It's so early.
yeah. Yeah. Let me check the. I think I think only one person's gotten it faster than me. At least that was the way it used to be. I
Hmm.
think I don't. I think that's not true now. Because I think like Zone might have gotten it faster than I did as well. But I think Chikubi was the only person that had. Yeah, it was January 2019. That's what I thought. Okay, it was even before my birthday. How about that? So yeah,
Was it
51.
before mine?
It was the 20th. So
No, barely not.
okay. Um, yeah. So it's 51, 55. And the the crazy thing about that run is it got a hand, as we mentioned, but
Mm-hmm.
um, so I was comparing it against runs that got no hands. So it was so much better than anything I'd done to that point. And then it was at that point I went back to 100%. And that took I think it took a little longer. Or no, I did get okay, I got a 111, then I got the 51. Then I did go back to 100% to go for a 110. So yeah, that's wild. So I actually got a 110 before I got a lower 51. I'm not sure
Mm.
anybody's really gone that route, but uh interesting. Hmm. I just remember, Chikubi did similar things around the same time. We basically got all of our times around similar times, and then Teeks was after me in terms of getting those times, as I remember. So, and then Stewie, I think, was after that, maybe. But yeah, we all kind of got like 51s in a similar time frame.
It's cool to get all of your like big time barriers with people you know in the community,
Yeah, and
especially again in a game like that.
yeah, and then it was like, well, what do I do? You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, I went back to Warpless, wanting a no hands run. I didn't get it.
No,
Uh, but I got a 5133 with a hand, which,
it's like a
had I,
51 1x with no
yeah,
hands. Yeah.
yeah, at the time, I think I would have been like top three or top four had it gotten no hands. It was like a
Yep.
really fantastic run. I almost beat Cujo's former world record, which was 5127, and that got no hands. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like really, yeah, it was a really good run at the time. Happy with it. And so I moved on to other things as well. I think 2019 was when I did my first Mario 1 stuff.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
God, what an adventure with that game.
But
Yeah.
hey, no
Uh,
RNG. We love to see it.
there is no RNG. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that was a lot of people don't realize that I'm actually really good at that game.
Yeah. I'll say.
Yeah,
Like
it's always interesting because people come in, they're like, "Wait, you got a sub 5?" I'm like, "I don't got just a sub 5,
you
got a
have a
456."
456, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
people keep saying like, "Oh, 456 is so easy now. 455 is the new 456." I'm like, "No, it's still as hard as it was. Just
yeah.
maybe practicing it's a little easier because of better ever drives and save state. It's on
We
console."
understand things a little better too,
Yeah,
just
I guess the
yeah,
understanding is better, but it's the
yeah.
same for FPG at least. It's the same inputs. Like it's
Yeah.
not any
Right.
easier. Like I
Yeah.
guess the only thing that's easier is now you can like manipulate your sub speed so you have a better chance of getting it after doing the
Yeah.
inputs right, but you're still like doing the same inputs essentially. Like I
There
don't know,
had
it's
to
not
have
any
been,
easier.
yeah, and 456 when I started that, my time would have been a top 5 time. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, but now it's not even, or it's barely top 50, uh, which is hilarious. But
Yeah, it is pretty
um,
funny. I'm four fifty
yeah,
six, number 10. I got there
okay,
and I got there in time.
got there in time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
barely,
see.
but we did it.
Someone must have knocked me out of the top 20 in Warpless. I was just looking at it because I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to look at a timeline for when I was
But yeah, you
let's
took SMB one
see.
seriously when you started it.
Yeah. Well, I had learned so I played on emulator um
Mm.
for a really long time. It's probably like, well, I guess not that long. It was like 4 or 5 months
That's just,
on emulator.
that's like as long as I was.
Yeah.
No, I was a
And
little
then
longer because SGDQ is what made me switch to console. And if I started in October, and that was like
yeah.
in June. Okay. I got
Yeah,
a
that
457
basically
on
the same.
emulator with like my fingers, my right hand did the arrow keys to move, and then
Okay.
like my left hand did like what was it, like W to run and Q. It was all backwards. I
Yeah.
had a 457. I had 10 frames of input lag. Don't ask me how I did any of this. It's fucking stupid, but anyway, the moral to the story is emulator bad, console good.
Yeah. Well, I learned the 458 strats basically,
Mhm.
like sub 5, I guess. 458 strats
Yeah, it's the same thing.
on emulator. Yeah. Um and I was ready to do the run on emulator, but then I ended up switching the console. I had an HDMI NES
Mm.
that I used to run on, so I'd lose some time on it. So my first like that was the other thing. I think that yeah, that 51 55 would have been on that console. So depending on how much time that frame rate difference actually loses, it could be anywhere from I lost 5 seconds to what, like 12-ish, depending on.
Yeah, I actually don't know much about the HDMI NES. It why does it have a different frame rate?
So whenever they convert video standard to HDMI, like 1080p 60, like
Mhm.
that is, you have to, like, the refresh rate and uh the frame rate have to sync.
Okay, so it's like flat 60
Yeah.
to match
Yeah, it's like 59.94
or
or something, I think.
5994. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Um but yeah, basically.
Mm.
Um which, yeah, so they have to underclock the console by like, what did they say, it was like 0.25% or something. I
Well,
didn't
normal frame rate
realize it.
60.09, so it'd be that
Yeah.
minus 59.94, I
Yeah.
guess. That's
Yeah.
significant. Like it's no
It is.
VVC, but it's very
Yeah.
significant.
Yeah, it's at least a second every 10 minutes. So, yeah, it's
Yes,
been,
in
yeah.
fact, yeah, like uh so I know there's some switch runners for SMB1. So like their 458s will be 459s or something. Like it's
Yep.
like around half a second, I think. So yeah, like at
Yeah.
least a second every 10 seconds sounds about right.
So so my
Or 10
first
minutes.
run, I think, was pretty close to 458, had with the conversion. It was a 459 7 or 750
Mm-hmm.
with the
So like a
conversion.
dot two, dot one. Yes,
Yeah.
low 59.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I lost one frame rule, I think, in 4.2 because I wasn't doing the normal 3 bump.
Yeah, the easier one that gives you a
Yeah.
74. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Um and then, so, it looks like I actually got that in October 2018.
Oh
So
wow, that's early.
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty early. I think I was top 50 with that run too. So just to give you
Well,
an idea how much it's changed,
at
is
least
like I
you've
was,
stayed
yeah.
there, I
Yeah.
guess.
Uh and I think when I got my 457, I think I was even top 30 maybe when I got that.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been. I mean, it says only 2 years ago, so that was November 2020. It was like something like that. It's top 30 or top 40. And then when I got my 456, I think I was definitely top 30. Um,
Should have been.
but that, yeah, but that grind, that was when I learned that I'm probably not the best person to be doing any percent runs. I just,
Yeah.
uh, man, that
It's
run
mentally
killed me.
taxing.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
The thing that really got me about that one too is I would randomly figure out more things about the run because like there's nowhere where there's like a comprehensive guide on like
Mm-hmm.
certain things, right? So I had no idea that for instance subspeed was a thing until
Mm-hmm.
someone was like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing." And that was affecting my FPGs pretty significantly because I
Yeah.
noticed a huge difference
Because
after
if you always release right, like your
at a
muscle
bad
memory is going to keep
spot.
doing that, and if it's in a
Yep.
bad spot, yeah, it'll never work.
Yep.
So you have to
So,
recognize that, which is funny because
yep.
I guess I was lucky with my muscle memory because
Hmm.
like subspeed wasn't a known thing until way later when I was doing it, and
Yep.
I was hitting it fine. I thought it was all just if I fucked it up, I missed the input.
Yeah.
I didn't know subspeed
That
was a thing at all.
that's what I thought too. I'm
Yeah,
like, I would get like fail animations. I'm like, what the fuck does this mean when he does this?
yeah.
And that's what seemingly what it meant a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like that was the thing that was hard is with Mario 3, I understand it so much when I look at what happened, I know exactly input wise what the issue was. Like exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you exactly what happened. With SMB1, like I would hit the ground, looks like I jumped first frame because I'm not, doing like you can tell when you jump on a later frame. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
because you like flip around, right? Like you turn around a lot of times. Like I'll
Oh,
turn
like
left or
at the
something.
base of
Yeah.
the flagpole, yeah.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
jumped at all late, you're holding left, so you would have landed on the
Yeah.
ground and face left. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like jump and I'm in the block and I jump and I just don't like go forward. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What does
Mm-hmm.
this animation mean? And so that had to be what it meant because
Mm-hmm.
once I figured that out, I started getting it a lot more.
It's either
So
that or
is that.
you begin the left plus late because then you weren't
Yeah.
clipping as much.
Yeah, exactly. Um, well, usually you don't seem to clip in at all when that happens. Like that was my
Well, you
experience.
you
Like I
still
would
will a
just like face
little
rub.
bit, but yeah,
Okay.
you'll like
Yeah.
come to a stop at the base
Yeah.
essentially, and you'll be like, oh well, because like you
Um,
still kind of clip in, and you holding left will still make him. It just won't nearly be as much.
yeah. Yeah, it was that. So that was one thing. The other thing is lag frame, totally
Mm-hmm.
preventable. Had no idea that
I still don't
it
know.
was.
I don't.
Um,
I don't do any manipulation. I just it doesn't seem. I seem to play in a way where it doesn't happen. But
yeah,
I've
it had.
definitely had lag frame in the past. But that was
So
before it was manipulable or whatever.
I didn't have it with 457, and it's because you get the extra points from not doing FPG
Mm-hmm.
in um, the two levels, right, for
Yeah.
456. And
Yeah,
so
you'll get
apparently,
5,000s instead of 100s.
yeah. So apparently, based on the number of coins I generally grabbed in the run, losing those points made me get lag frame, which wouldn't have mattered except I got a 457.01, and so
Mm-hmm.
it did with lag frame. So it was a 456. It just wasn't.
That
So
I think you're the only person who's ever done that. So there you go. That's pretty incredible. The only thing
I was, yeah.
the only thing I can relate to is I've said it before, but what a PB I got, I had like a 501 and then I got a 5 flat. It was like a
Hmm.
dot 3. Then I got 5 flat dot 02 and then PB by 1 frame, which is dot 006, and then got sub 5.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
It's a little more painful when it's that low. Like 456 is significantly better, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to relate here. I kind of get it.
Yeah. Well, it would have been more painful if like the grind lasted longer. Because I think I got 456 the
Yeah,
very next
it
stream.
wasn't. Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's significantly fast.
Yeah, I was pretty dialed in. So I think what had happened is I actually, before I got the 456 in that same stream, I was in 8-4 on pace on a run before, and I died in water. And I was so
Mm.
fucking pissed. I was so pissed I died in water because I'm like, this is easy, man. Just it's not, but it is.
Now, water is
Yeah,
something I can talk shit
yeah.
about because I think I would have been the sixth person to 456, but I bonked on the pipe at the end of water and lost like zero point 0.2, so I got a 457.14. I
Oh my
proceeded to
god.
not PB again for 6 months despite grinding. Now
Yeah.
it's like I don't.
You're
Speedrunning's weird.
probably you were trying not to lose any frames in water, right? Whereas like I always take like a
I
couple
don't.
frame loss.
I don't know. Like I
Hmm.
don't remember my mindset from back then because I'm talking like mid to late 2018. I think it was like
Hmm.
September or October, or maybe even it might have been August because it was like 6 months, and I finally got 56 in February 2019.
Okay.
So like it was significantly early for me. I almost got like I would have gotten 456 in less than a year, and back then, what?
Hmm.
Only a few people, or not even a few, just a couple people have maybe done that
Hmm.
back
Yeah,
then.
it's not it's still not that common. I'm sure there's definitely people have done it, but
Oh, there's plenty more people that have done
yeah.
something like that, but back then it was
Yeah.
significantly faster for the time.
Yeah, I think there's even a couple people that got 455 within a year. So it's kind of interesting. But
Yes, that should be right.
yeah, because I like Tree, right? I think Tree would have been one of
I, I'm not entirely certain.
them. But yeah, I'm kind of with that run. I sometimes I look at him like I could get a 455.
You could. Do you
I
want
could.
to?
Sometimes I do, but
Oh,
then
that's
like
not the answer I was expecting.
sometimes I'm like, because I just think it's cool. Because I think about it this way. What if because I have a sub 51, I'm gonna get a 109.
Hmm.
What if I had like a 455 and like sub 19 as well? I put up like all these times that no one has the combination of all those times. Like
It's true.
I'm even right now, like I'm kind of in my own company to an extent. I think Ethan's the only person that kind of has a similar
Yeah, you
set of times.
like Ethan. He has a 457 SMB1, and then Warpless. I
Yep.
know he has an OX at least, but
Yep.
it might be
Oh
high.
nine. Oh nine.
Just
Yep.
yeah, oh no, okay, but so like his times aren't like as optimal as some others, but he's good at so many games.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, those are still top SMB1 times, and then he literally has like top three SMB2 times. He has
Yep.
top SMB3 times. He has a 143 to 120 star now.
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was watching his stream earlier, and I just asked how do you do it? Because that to me that's insane to be that good at so many
He's
games.
just playing offline all the time, right? Like
I don't
he's
know.
watching people.
I don't know what his
That's what
work ethic for speedrunning is.
I mean, it's
I
what
just know
it's
he's
got to be.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what mine is. Like,
Hmm.
when I'm grinding hard, I'll just be working offline when I'm in streams and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be much of
Um,
a grinder, but not anymore, and that's why I've fallen off so hard.
I kind of like I get motivation here and there. Like right now, it's not super high because
Mine's been shot for a few months.
yeah, Yeah, you know, like, because I just have this fucking SMB3 grind that just won't die. It just
Yeah,
won't fucking die.
the 69.
Yeah. Um, so you know, first it was the sub 51 that was the same way, and now it's like this grind won't die. So I'm like, well, what's the fucking point for me to learn like or to get good at SMB2U because I'm never gonna play this goddamn game because this grind was just lasting forever. So, but like at the end of last year when I did the trilogy run, like I was pretty motivated. I was, yeah. Um,
Yeah, the SMB 1, 2U, and 3 any percent all back to back.
hmm
You did get the
hmm
record for it,
I did.
and
Yeah.
it's really good too.
It's a
Oh,
very good record. Yeah.
did you sub
Um,
5 SMB 1?
I, yeah, 458. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and then
That
like,
was that was the goal for the record was it needed to have sub 5, sub 9, and sub 11.
which needs
So,
no hands. And that's
yeah.
still, and you have to play SMB 1 and 2 first.
Yeah.
But there it is. And it was like a 8-4X or something, right? SMB
Yeah,
2.
I died, which is it's funny.
What?
I died in 6-3 and it was oh yeah, I was on PB pace in the 6-3
Oh,
into the
okay.
Triclide fight. Yeah, I was on like 8:29, 28 pace. Um
Oh, you died in the, okay. Well, that's not
yeah,
the
ran
slowest
off.
death,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah.
I ran off the donut blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing I was really sad too is if I just didn't die there, you know, even if like well, if the rest of the game went the way it did, it would have been an 832 if I didn't die,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't get the one cycle on Wart. But um, if I just didn't die there, I would have had a faster SMB2U than even ILM had in his run. So it would have been like every run would have been faster. It would have been just like this. It would have been
Wow.
like the record would have been there are probably like three people that could beat that record right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it would take a lot of work for them to do it. So,
Yes. It's
and
hard
yeah,
to be good top level at multiple games at once.
yeah, yeah. Basically, the three people I could have beaten it at, you know, work if they put in work would have been Ethan, Cool Kid, and ILM
Mm-hmm.
because SMB2U is the most important run in that trilogy. It's the one where the most time is gained and lost. So,
Yes.
yeah. So that's that's the thing that I enjoy about having that record is because I'm not a 2U runner and I have the record, and I think that run is the important one. 3. So
Yeah, you'd say you're not, but you have like top SMB2U time though.
yeah, in any percent, yeah, I think I'm eighth or something, so it's pretty good. But
Pretty good. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll say
Eh,
it's pretty goddamn good, but okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to what the record was when I started. Again, I think probably a few seconds away.
Like that game
So
to me is confusing and difficult. Like I've never been able to grasp how to do it
um,
correctly, I
yeah,
guess.
it's it kind of ends up being it's a lot like Mario 1 in how you have to play so well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just you don't have the way like the frame rule system works to like keep your run on the same pace. Like these small time losses actually matter quite a bit. Like when you lose like 5 frames, you know, it potentially matters a lot. So
Yeah.
um yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. Some of the strats are really fun. Having to just get accustomed to the different mechanics of the different characters too is a bit
Mm-hmm.
of a challenge. So the fact that I've played so many different Mario games well probably helped me there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someday
So
I'll figure it out, but I
yeah.
when someone's even remotely good at it, it kind of blows my mind, so at least.
Yeah, it's you know it's just like with anything I played those levels so much offline that just you know like 6-2 That was one
Mm-hmm.
thing I want to learn is the you know the top level 6-2 because it's a really cool strat. It's
Yeah, just
really
jump off of everything
yeah
in a
yeah it's
bottomless
really
pit level.
and it feels good when you do it too. It's like you do all of that and then you get to the Birdo and you fast kill the Birdo. It's just like everything is fucking cool about that entire level. It pisses you off when you miss it when
Mm-hmm.
you because like you get veggie glitch, you're like, yeah, it's been how many runs since veggie glitch, and you're like, cool, I've played everything mostly perfect to this point. Then you get the 6-2, and like even you get to the Birdo, and then like you fucking one of your throws is late, or like you yeah, it's just something weird, or like your first throw you didn't run 1 pixel further to allow the block to snap 1 block
Mm-hmm.
ahead or whatever. It's just like dumb shit like that that'll make you lose your run.
I know
And then
my.
you
Oh.
then you get the 6-3 and you got to do the potion jump, but you got to
Mm-hmm.
do it fast to like the cycle that I was going for with Birdo. You had to do it fast, so like you have to jump up the ladder in the first room. The second room, you got to jump off the ladder and then do the jump up and turn back really fast. So it kind of changed where I do my potion jump as well. So I'd adjust that. You don't want to rub up the wall because that loses frames. So you kind of like
Mm-hmm.
turn back and then snap forward. And then you want to jump down to where you don't hit the end of the wall, but
And that's
you
off
you
screen,
land
so you
just
can't
after.
see it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like all this shit to save, just enough, and then you get to the Birdo, and he shoots a fireball right away, and you lose your shit because
And
you're
that's
like,
RNG,
wow,
right?
yeah, yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
just showed up there at the exact wrong frame. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, um,
Yeah, that game has a lot of patterns and stuff, and then
yeah,
its own luck factors a little bit.
yeah.
I was
The
gonna say my
eggs.
I think my PB has 6-2, not the fast Birdo fights because I don't know what the fuck that means, but I did clear that level. It's an amazing 952, just blazing fast. I think I died 2 or 3 times. That game is a game.
Hey, that's like as fast as that run I did for GDQ. Although I did take the game over, I ended up not needing, but
Mm.
I didn't want to. I put the time at 10 minutes, so I didn't want to like have a situation where I die in Wart and then game over and have to play World 7 all over again.
Yeah, that it do be like that.
It does. It does be like that. Man. Uh, Yeah, what an interesting game. I don't know why that game would like it probably looked like I had a terrible time playing it, but I'd be like having fun, but it just pissed me off so much with certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just like I'd be losing my shit, but I'm enjoying it, but like at the same time I'm like, why the fuck did this happen? Um I did a few like all levels attempts and I had one that was uh like a 21 4x pace, right? Which is a pretty good time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I get and I'm playing great, and I get the 5-3, and this is the level I've saved time in. And like everything in the beginning goes well. I get to the second room, I'm doing my normal jumps, and a bird just drops a fucking bomb on my head. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what? And then someone's like, "Oh yeah, so sometimes they just like do something different based on how you ended the last level." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Oh, cool. So you mean I did all of these attempts and this never happened, but then it happened on this run?"
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Of course
yes,
it
of
did.
course. Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
like
I
just like
learned I learned all levels for a 12-hour challenge, and
mhm.
I didn't finish a run until like the very end. It's I don't I'm not a huge fan of it.
It's
It's so
I love
hard.
it. I love it.
Yeah,
It's such a great run.
it's a great
It's so
run to watch.
it's so fucking hard. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's weird how um sometimes I think the shorter runs are harder than the longer runs in games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh but I don't think that's true in that game at all.
No,
like
no. All
I
levels is
think, yeah,
significantly harder, I think, yeah.
yeah, because you do all the exact same things as you do in any percent because the
Mhm.
run's not long. So, yeah, it's wild. Um, whereas, yeah, I think in Mario One, most of you that run it for marathons and stuff, nobody submits any percent. I've noticed that. Like everyone's just like, I don't really
Warpless
want to
is
do any
easy
percent.
to
Yeah,
not suck at, or at least
yeah,
not look like you're playing bad. Any percent, you'll die just
yeah,
at any time.
yeah.
Uh, it's hard to like lose. Like even if you just miss the wrong warp in 4-2, that's like instant
Hmm.
2 or 3 minutes because you have to game
Yeah.
over, restart at World 4, and get back there. That doesn't happen in Warpless. The worst that can happen really is you'll die once and then just restart that level. And even still, like if I've gotten a sub 20 with taking damage 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, like
If it happens in the right spots, I guess, right?
yeah, if it happens at the right spots, you get your power ups back. Okay, the last hit was on Bowser in 8-4, so there is
Yeah.
there is that, but still, like
Yeah, probably happened in 5-4, right? Which isn't a big deal because you're like, oh, I got 6-1. I just get whatever
I
back,
wouldn't
right?
remember. It was for a marathon though.
Yeah.
I could figure it out, but yeah, like
Any
Warpless things
percent?
can go wrong and it's not a huge deal. Any percent something goes wrong, okay,
Yeah.
bye.
Any percent you lose fire and you're just like, fuck, I'm never getting this back, dude. And I
Hmm.
needed it. And it's over.
Yeah, you can't
It's just,
like get fire back
yeah.
realistically. Like you
It's just
could if you
not
get the
gonna happen.
mushroom in 8-2 and fire in 8-3, but at that point, why are you bothering?
I mean, I would do it, but like the bros never let you
No,
do
they
that.
wouldn't let you
Like,
do that anyway.
no, they just, yeah, you're always getting a low bro there. 100%.
Hmm.
100% getting low bro.
Of course. That's how the game works. So yeah, that
Yeah.
all levels Mario 2.
Yeah.
Truly the only game like that, really. Or yeah,
Yeah.
all levels is so much harder than any percent.
I think in Mario 3, it's also true that the longer categories are much harder.
Hmm.
Um, but they're definitely
They're harder skill
not,
wise, but like
yeah.
100% compared to Warpless has far less RNG that like is run dependent.
Yeah.
So it's a weird trade
Yeah.
off.
Right. And it's just like you accumulate so many lives over the course of Mario. That's why I love running Mario 3. It's like unless especially submitting 100% for a marathon
Hmm.
is so good because I don't have to worry about like accidentally getting eaten by a bass in 3-8, and so I have to then play an auto scroller and go back. It's just like shit like that you don't want to do
Hmm.
because it's a massive time loss. But you just accumulate so many lives over the course of the run that even if you die, you're just like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, you do get a
Um,
shit ton of lives in that game.
yeah, but yeah, Mario 2 isn't like that.
Oh,
Mario
not at
2,
all.
yeah, yeah,
Like you
like
can't get a one up.
no,
Like even for
yeah,
safety,
it's
it
it's
just
just
doesn't
slow.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like it's rough. Mario 1's like that too.
Mm,
As
I guess
well. Like
not
you just don't
one
get
ups
power ups,
really.
but yeah, you don't get one ups, but at least you can get back to where you were quickly.
Yeah, and you'll
Usually.
never run out of continues or anything. You
Hmm.
can always just A plus start whenever.
Yeah. So tying into this, I actually submitted the Any Percent trilogy for GDQ,
Oh yes, cool.
which is cool, but also I am frightened
Oh,
because
SMB
the
two.
first the first if I as long as I make it out of the first two games, we're
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, because you're
Mario 3. Yeah.
easy. You'll
Yeah.
get three
That
hands, but it's easy.
yeah. And that's the way I felt when I did the grind too. I'm like, man, if I just get to Mario 3, like this category is so much more chill than the other two. The other two are just like gonna fuck you
And at
over
least
at any
Mario one's
second.
over real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, at least it's the first run too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
SMB two is
you know,
definitely the run.
yeah, yeah, because it comes second. You're like, you just get a 458, and then you've got to, play it a top 15 time in,
Mm-hmm.
in Mario 2U afterwards. You're like, oh my God. Dude. So, and then, you get to Mario 3, you're like, all right, at least like the gameplay is comfy, but you get to the hands and you just get hands and
Mm-hmm.
you get more hands and you get more hands. And so yeah, it took me like 20 times the hands to get that first no hands on that run. And I think it took 2 no hands runs to get the record, but
Mm.
yeah. So not bad. Not bad at all.
No,
Uh,
at
but
least
yeah,
compared to
that
other
yeah.
categories.
Yeah. And I actually tied my PB um
Three.
in Mario 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh
That's a like 10:52, 3.
it was 10:53.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I
That's
can
better
get a
than me
much
by one
better
second.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get a much better time. I just don't care to. It's just that category sucks. I don't.
No, what sucks for me is I had an 11:02, and then it took me years to PB again because hands are fun, but
Hmm.
I was 10:49 pace into Bowser's Castle. Went for the clip. Guess what happened?
Didn't get it.
No, of course not. Why would that
No.
happen? So
Yeah.
now it's a 10:54 instead.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Classic.
Like if I didn't go for the clip, I could have maybe gotten like a 10:50, but I was 4x pace. So you have to go for it. And
Hmm.
hey, the game
Yeah.
has RNG. Remember that? There it is.
Yeah.
Now you have to grind 100 runs just to get no hands again to have even a shot at it.
Stewie
Good
got hit
game.
by Bowser on 457, or
Yeah,
not
40,
457. Yeah,
10:47. Yeah,
1047. Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
pattern. That
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten that pattern, but I know it'll happen. I'm waiting for it.
Honestly, it might not. It's pretty rare.
You
Like,
say that, but
I, I'm serious. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody lose a PB at the end of a 100% run other than me to
yeah,
that
I
pattern.
was gonna say,
Yeah, other than me.
of course.
At least at the top level. Like, I'm sure it's happened, but like it's super rare. I don't And it's weird because sometimes he'll do the same thing for that pattern, but he'll just like fire the fireball at a different angle and it'll go over your head.
Hmm.
I don't know if it matters like exactly where you're sitting above the door, but yeah, it's just really interesting.
Yeah. Hey, at least that you got footage in a summoning salt video out of that, like
Yeah.
one rare pattern killing a
Yeah.
run.
My most prized possession, that clip.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was saying the same thing to Stewie when, like, his massive hammer bro movement. I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, at least you got an assault video out of it. I guess that's worth something.
Yeah, I like that all my clips that have been in projects he's been involved in are memes,
Hmm.
pretty much. So like, I've
That's
got
the
that
best.
one. The door 3 miss in the video was me.
Hmm.
The movement of 10 in World 4 that wasn't a marathon, but it was a marathon was me.
Mini marathon.
Uh, yeah, if we go back to like the speedrunning documentary, like I'm in there just getting 3 hands.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I hit the wall jump first try. It's
Yeah.
cool, but
Hey, at least you're in the
yeah,
documentary.
yeah, true, yeah, losing,
Yeah. What can you do?
which is funny because like I think I'm good at racing. Of course my fucking losing clip is in there. I don't
Yeah.
lose that often, but
Well, it happens.
yeah,
Yep.
especially
Those
when you're racing Mitch and get 3 hands,
That was
you're not gonna
2019.
win.
Weren't that footage?
It was.
I wasn't at that one. I know they were at 2020 and I was there, but
Yeah.
there's
So
actually a shot of the practice room and there's a TV with Mario 1, but I don't know who it is. And
yeah.
there's someone sitting next to them that might be me,
Hmm.
but that's the only way I'd be. No, that's not true. They have a picture of Cosmic doing the one hand run from HGQ 2018.
Okay.
I'm in the back row, but that doesn't count.
I got some funny
You're actually in it.
stories. Yeah, I am. I am actually in it.
You're
I got some
actually
funny
in it.
stories from that event too, because
Oh, that one?
um, so if you remember, Mitch was running Grand Prix World 2 at that event.
Is this
Um,
SGQ 2019?
yeah.
Okay. Yes. I wasn't there,
Um,
but yeah.
so he did like no practice for all forts,
Oh, okay.
like hardly any. Yeah. Um, and then Grand Pooh Bear did the like blind ROM hack race thing with they had the two teams that was before our
Mhm.
all forts run. So he also basically hardly did any practice. Lasso basically did ILs for like an hour a day and then was like, all right, I'm good. I'm the one sitting in the practice room, like trying to accustom myself to, like the fucking noises and shit. I'm sitting there doing runs.
Mhm.
Um, because it was my first time doing anything like that ever. Well, I mean, I've stood up in front of like a few thousand people and given like a minute speech before, but like I've never
Oh, I couldn't do
done.
that.
Yeah, I've never done something like that where it's like, there were like 200,000 people almost watching that race. And
Mhm.
there's like, how many people that room fits? Like a thousand, couple thousand. So you know, I had seen in at AGDQ 2019, I did commentary for the three mix race, and I saw throughout that week. So it was Jabum, Mitch, and Gadian that were in that race. And I just saw the three like Mitch's prep. Like Mitch had a schedule where he would get up in the morning, he would do his runs, he'd do his practice. He did a lot of prep. Jabum didn't do as much prep because the stuff there was different than what he's used to at home. I think he did some of his prep at home because he lives in Virginia, so he would just drive
Mhm.
to the hotel. I think is how that worked. Gadian is the same way. They both live in the same area. But Gadian did a little bit more practice. So Mitch won that race despite I think he might have had the worst time of the three at the time. Um, Jabum had the record, and like Jabum had the worst performance because Jabum, like everything threw him off. Just like the height of the TV was different than he was used
Mhm.
to, just like lights and all that shit. So for me, I learned a lot from that, and I was just like, I'm gonna play in the loud. I'll play in the private practice room a bit. I'll play in the loud one. I just need to get accustomed to like people walking around me, like
Mhm.
conversations going on. So like all this chaos and just playing the run and being able to do it. So I was the one in there, just like I'd do like 5 or 6 runs a day, probably just sitting there.
Wow.
Um, and I was super ready for that race. Mitch thought I was gonna win it. The others thought Mitch was gonna win it. I thought Mitch would win it too, just because like I don't know how I'm gonna do. It's like the first time I've ever done anything like that, and I know he always does well in those situations. So
Mhm.
um, they sit us down, and everybody, the other people are playing on CRT, and I'm the only one playing on a monitor. Now everybody plays on. So what people don't know is like you used to be able to choose whether you play on CRT or monitor at GDQ. Now everybody plays on monitor. Like you have to because they just don't
Shit.
lug the fucking CRTs. So yeah, and ESA is the same way. You play on monitor.
Mm.
So just as an FYI, that for anybody that like is interested in that sort of thing, like getting used to playing on something like that is important. And it's not even just like playing on monitor, it's playing on the particular monitor that they're going to use for the event. And
Mhm.
GDQ will put those in the room, the practice room.
Yeah,
So
they were
you'll,
there in
yeah,
2022. That's the first time I've
yep,
seen them.
yeah. So if you ever do a run, that's what I would suggest. You pick one of those and you learn it because like there's small differences between
Mhm.
monitors. Like the motion blur might be slightly different.
There's like
So
one frame of input lag when I tested it that I was used to.
interesting because there's like none for me. Like when I do
Mm.
CRT or my monitors, like I don't. I think it's less than a tenth of a frame. Yeah.
Oh, well.
So,
I
um,
thought I was still able to do everything, but it felt
yeah.
off. Maybe it wasn't because of input lag, but it definitely felt off.
I think what happens is I think Mitch struggles with it too when he plays on like a clearer picture because he's used to like the shitty grainy CRT picture where like you can't see the individual pixels as well, but like you also the motion is more smooth.
Mhm.
Like you don't ever see the picture blur on a CRT, whereas like on a monitor, no matter how good it is, you'll see a little bit of it when you run, like especially Mario 3 when you're running really fast.
Mhm.
So um that's one thing that you kind of get used to. But so I'm the only one playing that. So this was the first event they started doing that. They where they had monitors and they had the upscalers. And so the monitor they had was way different than what they had in the practice room. So
Mm.
they got this feedback that what they did was bad and they need to fix it. And they did for the next time we did a race. But um so it's a different monitor. This fucking thing is huge, man. It was like a 40-inch monitor. It was
Holy
fucking huge.
shit.
Yeah, it was like
Wait,
fucking
my
massive.
CRT is 27 inches, and that's already too big.
Yeah, so it's like way bigger than any other monitors. It's a really nice quality monitor though. It's like a beautiful monitor,
I
but
gotta feels like something that big would have horrible input lag.
it didn't.
Oh,
It
wow.
was like yeah, it was the same. Like
Well, that's good.
there were never any latency issues on the monitors, so like they really tested that out, but like not having it so I could practice on that particular monitor threw me
Mhm.
off a bit cuz like the motion blur was different
Yeah.
between um the other thing is so I hook it up and I didn't realize this when I started playing on console. Like my monitor is defaulted to stretched.
Mm.
So like I've always played on 4:3 stretched. So it's, 4:3 stretched to 16:9 or 16:10, whatever the fuck the
Gross.
yeah.
Gross.
Um you can't
How'd you
tell with my
capture it, though?
capture.
Yeah, you would put it back
Well,
to.
no, the capture doesn't matter because that's just like the feed you're getting to your
Oh, wait,
monitor,
yeah, that's
right?
right.
Whereas because
Okay.
it's yeah, it's split, right?
You
So
split it. Okay, yeah. That
yep.
makes more sense then.
So it looks normal on stream, but
Mhm.
that's what I'm actually playing on. And so I'm asking him, I'm like, hey, it doesn't look quite right. Can like normally it's like stretched. They're like,
Mhm.
wait, what? What do you want? I'm like, yeah, you just need to like stretch it full screen. And so they're like, hold on, okay. They need to figure it out. So they got it figured out. And everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck are you playing on? Like, what is
Exactly. Why? I'm
it's
cringing.
it's just yeah, it's just the way I learned it. And I like it because I think it helps me see like individual pixels easier for
Well, they
things,
are
but
bigger.
they're
Just
because they're
all they
bigger,
also
yeah.
become rectangles.
Yeah, yeah. So I like it for that reason, but yeah, I get if you're not used to it, obviously it's gonna throw you off. But
Mhm.
it doesn't throw me off that much playing normal 4-3, but like I'm at my best playing trying to like play what I'm comfortable with
Yeah.
most, to the extent possible anyway.
Mhm.
So the other thing is with Mario 3, if you remember the start screen is like it's trolly where if it's sitting there for too long, it'll just go to the like start like one player, two player select.
Mhm.
So you have to reset the console um when the countdown's occurring
Mhm.
to get everybody synced up because you don't want it to like go to that stupid ass screen like when you're not expecting it because you got to press start to go to that and then press start
Yeah,
again.
it's just like the Mario 1 demo. If it's doing the demo, you
Yeah.
have to, yeah.
Yeah. So if it swaps to that screen and you're pressing start to try to sync it, it'll just start the game. You're like, fuck, I started like, 1 second early.
Mhm.
So you don't want that to happen. So uh, what happened then is for some reason on that monitor, whenever you would reset, like the picture would go off and then flip back on.
Mhm.
But there was a box that would appear in the middle of the screen
Oh.
asking something. So this happens and I start the game, and I'm moving to level, and so I have to play the entire first level, and I can't see Mario.
Well,
And it's
that.
not a small box either. It's just like, it's like a decent size like rectangle in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of the screen. So, and you have to side jump off of enemies if you recall in
Yes.
1-1.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and somehow it goes perfect. I can't see Mario.
Yeah, no, that's a problem.
Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, when that happened, and that was like the very first level I played, I'm like, you know what? That's the hardest level I'm going to play all day. I think I'm going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did the
you
box
know,
go away?
yeah, it did. Yeah,
Okay.
because it was just like a temporary. It was just there for one level, but yeah, I was like,
That
that's the
box was there
hardest
for a while
level.
still, though, because that's like 20 seconds.
Yeah, it was. It
That's
was.
pretty
Yeah,
fucking stupid.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a fun little story about that. Like I'm freaking out when it's happening in the level because I'm like I have to be able to see Mario to
Mm-hmm.
side jump off of this shit, but everything went fine, and didn't die. Um, so that was the important part. But yeah, yeah, it's a great thing to happen right away because like I felt pretty comfortable after World 1 and that race because of that shit. So,
A blessing in disguise.
hmm yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did. It's one of those things where I'm like, I just don't want to die. I just don't want to look like a clown, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, look like I deserve to be here. And I think, I think everybody would agree that based on how the race went, that yeah, it was like I did well. I deserved to be there. I earned it.
Yeah. What were the standings? I don't remember.
I took second, but I think Mitch was like a few seconds ahead of me going into the hands, and then he got one and I got three.
Of
So it
course,
ended
yeah.
up being it ended up being a bigger margin than it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pooh actually got close to me because I think he got one, but then he died in the
Mm-hmm.
hand he got. So I think it
Oh,
was
well.
hand three. Yeah. Um, he actually played a lot better than I expected because he hadn't been playing Mario 3 that entire year.
Mm-hmm.
He hardly did any practice there. He kept pace with us pretty well. It was really in World 6 when we started to separate because the wall jump, it took him a lot of tries to do that. I remember. So,
Yeah.
um,
The only thing, again, I wasn't at that GDQ, but the only thing I remember is Lasso getting door 3 and popping off.
mhm, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Stewie got it at the next race we did as
Mm-hmm.
well.
I
So,
was there for that one.
yeah.
I popped
Apparently
off
door
for
three.
Stewie there. Not on
Yeah.
camera. I was in the front row, though, but just barely off camera.
Yeah. You know, it's good that someone went for it, but like, I'm, dude, I'm racing Mitch. I'm not fucking going for door three. Like, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm not going to,
Stewie was there
especially,
to show off, so you didn't have to
yeah,
worry about anything.
I'd feel a lot better going for it now than then. Like, then, I had no chance of getting
Mm.
that shit. Like, where's the frame you press up? I have no idea. Now I get it a little like significantly more often. Like then, because I time it now
Mm-hmm.
versus like then I would have just spammed up and hope it would have worked because like
Yeah.
that's my best. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, it's just like nah, man. I'm racing Mitch and I want to beat him because that's big for me if I beat Mitch, right? Like people are gonna be like, "Whoa, he beat Mitch," right? So it's
Yeah. Because
yeah.
everyone knows Mitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's the saddest part about like me getting three hands and him getting one is like if it was the other way, it would have made it would have been so much bigger for that to happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
But for him, they were just like, yep, it just of course it
Classic
happened that way.
Mitch.
Cause it's I don't even know why they do these races because he's just gonna win them. You see
Mm-hmm.
comments like that, and you're just like, what the fuck, man? I was like within 5 seconds of him until
Yep.
that happened.
The filthy casuals don't give any shits. They
Yeah.
just
Ye-
see popular guy and are like, "Yep, Of course.
That's that's the way the Hondo race was too. I led the entire first half of that race, and it was just like people in chat saying shit like, "Yeah, of course he won." I'm like, "Yeah, he fucking won because I don't know. I don't know what happened to me that race. That one hurts actually
Mm,
when I think about it because I made so many because uncharacteristic mistakes. And it was still really close because he did too. He we both kind of had bad races. I say that he got a 111, but like uh I mean shit now if we raced, we'd probably both get pretty close to 110.
hmm
Yeah, it just yeah, I it's really odd. Really odd race. I played like a perfect first half. Like I played I didn't make a single mistake until the World 4 boss, and then I got hit. And then that's the worst fucking mistake you can make without
Mm.
outside of dying in that
Well,
entire
yeah.
run. Because you just when you there's nowhere to get fire. Like you play like I mean, I think I ended up getting fire back in 5-3. So you play like the airship, the first three levels in World 5, and then you play 5-3 to get fire, except you play it slow because you got to stop to get fire.
hmm
It's just like there's just no good way of doing it. It's like a 15-20 second time loss. It's just so that flipped the lead basically the other direction. And he made mistakes after that, but I'd make mistakes in the exact same levels. It was just really odd. We both messed up like the 6-5 despawn.
hmm
We both messed up 7-8. I messed it up worse than he did, though. I had to actually take the safety pipe because I was gonna die probably. Because I can't remember what happened. I think I missed the star block to like jump up and bump it
hmm
because it's one of those levels you got to play like almost optimally.
Yeah, because the star runs out right at the plant
Yeah,
if you don't get
yeah.
piece speed or
And then the
something.
shit at the end does random things too if you're not
hmm
there in time because they're on this like it's not a global timer, it's like a boss timer.
Mm.
So I had to go in the hammer suit room. I grabbed hammer suit to ensure I didn't die at the end of the level, and then I kept it through the end of the level. And then people were like, "Oh, he's going for the hammer suit to try to save time." I'm like, "No, I was going for the hammer suits to make sure I didn't die." And then I just did fire route after that, and people were confused. They're like, "Wait, why did he equip the P-wing over the hammer suit?" I'm like, "Well, because I don't want to clip 7-9."
Mm.
Like,
No.
so yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah.
Well, was that the last GDQ you were in?
We did co-op on an online one, but that was
Yeah,
the
the
first,
rest
or
were
that was the
onlines.
yeah, yeah, that was the last in person. I did a CRDQ run for that, like at the beginning of COVID. They did that event.
hmm
That was it was a great run until I went for Jesus Clip.
Oh, why?
I
Stewie
I
moment.
got I kind of got pressured in that, so I had poo on commentary, and he's like, "Come on, go for Jesus Clip." I'm like, "All right, fuck it, I'll go for Jesus Clip," because I wasn't on PB pace anymore. But it was a really great run, and
Mm.
I died, and it wouldn't have been such a big deal, but I died twice in the auto scroller, so
Mm.
um, I just barely got underestimate for that one. Yeah, that was, and then I got 7-7 clip in that run, but I jumped out. That's the most
No.
memorable thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Were you just gonna like try it once and then play the level normally?
it was three. I was gonna do 3 attempts, and I was just
Mm.
gonna play the level, and that was the third attempt, and I
Oh,
fucking
okay.
flipped. Yeah, and I was just like, "Are you serious?" Because I had to speed it up because I was getting, my estimate was 115. And I'm looking at the time. I'm like, "Shit, this is gonna be really close."
Hmm.
So I think I
Wow.
I got it in under, just under. It was like 114.50s or something. So
Perfect.
yeah, basically
Underestimate.
I played a great run up until 5F2, and then I played a great run after the end of World 5, but like that section of the run was just not good. So, yeah.
It's all Pooh's fault.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my excuse. So
Yeah. Um, I know we did that hot fix
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. I did the hot fix. We did the online GDQ. I've done one other hot fix show. There's one where they do like I forget what it's called, but Nuclear runs it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it has to do with PB highlights. So like you go through your PB.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I did with my sub 51. So that happened last year. That was really cool. I learned, uh, I got the like learn what transparent paint was. It's like a version of paint that you get like a transparent screen and you can like draw on and shit. So that's what I started incorporating that into my coaching sessions. So that's how I'm able to like draw on the
Hmm.
screen and stuff when I do them. Because I think that just adds a little more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
you do coaching sessions for
yeah,
SMB3.
I do. Yeah.
So what's that like?
Uh, hey Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yoshi jump scare.
yeah. Yeah. So it's really interesting. I find some like really common themes with it's. I've only coached warpless too. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody's requested 100%. That is an option, but like no one.
I'll request
It's
any percent no wrong warp.
that one's not on the list.
Mm.
They're probably. I mean, I'm not the worst to go to for that. They're probably better people because I don't care about it as much. But because I there's certain things I just don't really know. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't do the Task World one, uh, just because I don't. There's no need to do it until you're going for like a mid 4x.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's just the coaching sessions. I find some common themes, which is basically like people are really good for 3 worlds,
And then
and
they're not.
uh, and then they're just not good afterwards. Like
Yep.
the quality of the play is just not the same level. And I know exactly what's going on. It's like I see that and I'm like, you fucking reset all the time. And they're like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, to give you perspective on a World 3, it's consistent. I'm like, you are 30 seconds behind my run, which is a sub 51. So
Mm-hmm.
that means you are on 51 pace still on World 3.
Hmm.
So if you've got like a 56-minute run, you're losing most of your time after that, right? And it usually starts in World 4. World 4 kind of blows
Sucks.
chunks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Um, usually people have problems with like 4-4, um, and some of the other levels as well, like 4-1 can be troublesome, stuff like that. World 5, it seems like people have a lot of trouble in World 5, like they're just taking damage all over the place. World 6, yeah, World 6 is the same sort of thing where like they'll miss the despawn. They might die like in the fort. Yeah, it's stuff like that. You see all the time. Like you just got to play through more of these runs. Like even if they're bad, even if you have a 17-minute World 3, like you can
Hmm.
still PB in this run. So just play it out until you can't PB anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna, you know, one thing that happens when you put yourself under the pressure of like, okay, I have to basically play really well for the rest of this run, the PB is like it's you have to play really well for the rest of the run. So you get practice doing that. And if you always reset in that situation, um, you're just never going to get the work in to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, I don't think people do like longer segment stuff as much. So I kind of it seems to be the common theme when I talk to him. It's always like ILs, and I think ILs are worthless,
Oh,
pretty
well, that's
much.
all I do. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd run roperless, but what confuses me is like when to use power ups and
yeah.
all that. That overworld stuff. That's more I get
Like
confused.
Yeah, it and you only learn that by playing the run
Yeah, of
through.
course.
So yeah, um, the ILs are good until you get to the point, like past that point is what I mean. Like once you've learned all the
Hmm.
levels and
And
what
you're
you're
always
supposed
going to
to
be
do.
practicing the ILs like with the proper power ups and anything. But in a
Yeah.
run, you can take damage and then you just don't know what you're doing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I suffer from this exact problem if whenever I've tried to run it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, yeah, playing through. It's like, dude, just play through all of World 6 in the
Hmm.
practice ROM and just keep doing that. And then work on playing through it. Once you've got some backup ideas, work through playing it perfect.
Hmm.
And like playing it perfect and if you're able to play it perfect, several times in a row, I guarantee you it's going to be better in your runs. Like
Hmm.
it has to be. And some of them you'll probably even play at the same level. So, um,
So you'd recommend
I
like
th-
world, not ILs, but like
yeah,
world. I don't know what you'd call it, but just a full world
full
playthrough.
world practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the only thing that's useful at a certain point. Like there are certain, if you're having problems in a particular level,
Hmm.
ILs can be useful to kind of work out the kinks. But then you've got to go through and you've got to play the rest of that world and get to that level and see how it goes, because it's one thing to play it well when you're just playing that thing, but
Hmm.
once you've had to play a bunch of other things and then play it, it's a different rhythm.
Yeah.
Like I think the rhythm aspect of playing the game and playing it well uh, is important. It's kind of like I don't know what it is. It's just when people are playing really well, you tend to see them continue to, and when people make a mistake, you tend to see more.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, it's just how that works. I don't know. It's just it. I think it just gets people out of rhythm when they make a mistake, and then
Yeah.
everything's a little off.
No,
You know?
I know how that feels. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it makes sense to me, at least.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So
rhythm's an
that's
important factor of just
yeah,
knowing what you're doing,
yeah,
comfortability, all that.
yeah. So I think that's to me why that full world stuff is really important. So I don't really do ILs anymore. There's some things like I'm working on 7-7. I'll do 7-7
Hmm.
ILs, but I'll also do 7-7 in the context of a full world 7. So it's like both. Um, just because like I don't get if I have good 7-7s after just doing 7-7, it doesn't really, I don't know what that means.
Yeah. How do
So
you practice 7-7? I feel like it's just luck. I mean, that's
um
most of it, right?
I mean, obviously there's an execution component because you've got to like
You have
jump
to
in the right
jump
spot.
and then release A at the right spot.
It seems like there's some things you can do to improve your success.
Mm.
Um, like jumping from a particular pixel, or it seems to like make it, I don't know. I seem to get it way more often. So like there's one pixel that I've started jumping from where I never like tip the end of the pipe really. I either like roll past it, clip through it, or like front edge it and
Hmm.
fall.
Which means
Um,
you hit the right spot.
yeah,
Like if
yeah,
you if
you
you
just
like clip in and then fall down.
yeah, and it's not like really you clip in like where I jump from either. It's just like you can see he kind of clips in, but then he like rubs through the front of the pipe, whereas
Hmm.
like before you would just dead stop sometimes. So
Hmm.
I don't get the dead stop anymore. What I'm finding is that um, I'm pretty much always making it through the level before the music speeds up. Like I can't remember the last time in practice or a run where that happened. Um, but that used to happen all the time.
Mm.
So there's definitely something there. My first tries, like it never works first try. I don't
No.
I don't know what, even when I like went through and tried to do the manipulation or whatever, like I'll get it first try like 3 times in a row, using the manipulation with a subpixel, and then I'll miss it like 20 times in a row. I don't know what the fuck. Like it's so specific. But even non-manipulated, I never get it first try, but I get it second try a lot. Like second and third try a lot, by comparison. So it's really odd. There's something with like how I execute the first try that I think gives me a super low probability of it working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just hard to comprehend how that trick works.
Yeah,
Would does 7-7 clip save time in warpless?
it would. Um, it's less because you're comparing it to 7-8 versus the level itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the problem is when you go for 7-7 clip in warpless is you also have to clip 7-9.
Okay, and that's the like you mean 4 for 4 clips,
Yeah,
but okay.
yeah, because it's the only place you can get fire.
How much time would it
So,
save if you got like everything optimally over like optimal normal route?
over the current world record, you'd probably save 19 seconds.
I mean, that is significant,
Well,
but
a little
that's
less. It'd be like 17 because you're playing the extra level, so you actually get an extra fanfare, I think. So it'd be like
mm,
17ish,
okay.
16, 17. Yeah,
I mean,
it's a lot.
for warpless, that sounds significant, but I also understand how much luck would be involved for all of that to work out properly,
Yeah,
where it's almost
yeah.
just like why.
You're basically like it'd almost be like getting 3 no hands in a row, but
Hmm.
even less likely.
And then you have to get no hands for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean is like, you know, going 1-1-1-1 and 7-9 is like less likely than getting no hands.
Hmm.
And then clipping 7-7 first try is less likely than getting no hands. So like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's not good. It's not
Unfathomable. Like,
yeah.
yeah. I was just always curious if it would have saved time, so I mean that's cool.
It
It's cool
does.
to know
Yeah.
how and why, but ugh.
Mhm.
You didn't think it could be worse, but it can always be worse.
I mean, the run's gonna get, once it gets in the 49-minute range, it's pretty much going to be at a point where those things are serious
Hmm.
consideration on a lot of runs.
Well, that what is it? 7-4 clip?
It's impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah, you've got to like, so all the inputs are done off screen, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, but the task actually does like frame rule manipulations with flight to maintain like flight speed as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like multiple frame perfect off screen inputs.
Okay, so it's not as simple as just getting up there and clipping.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. I was just
Yeah.
curious how that worked because
Y-
you don't see a
Yeah.
lot of level clips that aren't in the speedrun already.
Yeah. 6-6 is another one. And that one's just the
Oh,
way
you
you
get that
manipulate P speed.
ridiculous P speed and then do like
Yeah.
a 7-7 pipe clip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
know looking at
impossible.
that, no.
Yeah.
Just because it's P speeding manipulation constantly and like a human
Yeah.
couldn't really do that.
That one's the most impossible, I would
Hmm.
say, is
Yeah.
like that level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't have brought it up. Like I wouldn't even consider that a human viable
Yeah.
option. I just didn't know how
Yeah.
7-4 worked.
Yeah, you can actually do it, or it's been done in All Stars, with left plus right.
Hmm.
Left plus right would make it a lot easier, but
But obviously
yeah,
that's banned because NES
mhm.
controllers don't be like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where left plus right would make it a lot easier, but I still think it would be impossible on the NES,
Hmm.
and it probably doesn't save enough time in All Stars. So,
Yeah, it shouldn't be running on All Stars anyway.
hmm.
As we all know, All Stars is cringe and bad. At least that's what I say.
The all-star stuff is cool when you're talking about, like, I really like the big projects, like like what Rupert
Yeah, the
does.
all, like all
Mhm.
4 games. Yeah,
I
no,
I
that's
love I
cool.
love that, yeah.
That's very cool. I mean, like the All
Yeah,
Stars
the
standalone.
individual,
hmm
yeah,
I say with the Warpless All Stars record, but still
yeah.
cringe.
Yeah, I mean, all the individual games are just worse on All-Stars, like,
It's true.
yeah,
They're all
they just
bad.
are, yeah. The only
SMP 1 and
thing
Lost
that's
Levels got the brick. 3 has the
Yep,
shitty camera. Like
yep.
what I don't know what they were doing. I guess 2 is like the most normal, but even that they got rid of a lot of the things that make that run cool.
The only thing I like about 2U that they did is, the save, like, it's just
Yeah.
not as
It's not
yeah,
as bullshit.
brutal. Yeah. So that's one thing they did really well with All-Stars, but that's it, really, like, the gameplay on all the games is worse, like, one-to-one comparison.
hmm
But, yeah, when you do, like, the full thing, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, when you play All Stars as like a full game run, and by that it's like all the games included.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes it its own thing, which is unique and actually cool. But once
Mhm.
you separate them, it's just like, well, why don't I run the NES version? It's far superior in every way,
Yeah.
nearly.
Yep.
hmm
Yeah, it just and SMB3, I don't know, the sounds are cursed.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, everything. I mean, the sounds are fine, I guess. People like praise the graphics and music. I don't really see it.
Yeah, I don't
Like, I just think it's fine. It's not like a downgrade. I wouldn't consider it much of an upgrade either, though. And then all of the mechanics are a downgrade, so it just makes it
Mhm.
worse. The only thing
Yeah, I
I'd
think
praise about it is that both SMB2s have better continue options, and then
yeah.
the way Lost Levels flows to the post 8-4 stages is a lot better. But that's all it's got going for it.
Yeah, it allows you to do, like, a true
hmm
100%, right?
Yeah, without yeah, because all levels on the FDS version would be you have to do the warpless run so you get World 9, which is the same in all levels, but then you have to die like World 9 loops forever. So in 9-1 you have to kill yourself and then wait for loads. You go back to the title screen, you press A, press start. You had to have beaten the game 8 times as well to even
Yep.
access the letter worlds, and then letter worlds load. But yeah, in All Stars it just flows like you beat 8-4 and the game's just like, oh, there's more to do. It's like you
Yep.
didn't actually beat the game. Keep going. It flows like nothing happened. So that is
Yeah.
nice. That's why Warpless
Yeah,
D4 is actually a good category. But that's like the only good category when comparing All Stars to NES without like multiple game runs.
yeah, because 'cause they're separated in, the FDS version to be, like, A through D, right?
hmm
Like, you have A through D, and then you have 8,
Yeah,
4.
like Worlds A through D have their own categories on FDS version, but then there is an
Yep.
all levels where what I did, like you had to have beaten the game 8 times, and then you do a worpless run, and then do all that. Like I have the all levels record. I can tell you how stupid it is. It's it's a stupid process, but it's the only way to do like a true all levels run
Yeah.
on the FDS version while All Stars flows seamlessly.
Yeah, it seems like people never do that run that you're talking about, but they do the D4 run.
You only do an all levels run if you completed a worpless run. You're just like, okay, let's keep going. You're not gonna just
Sure.
run all levels. Like it feels like a waste of time.
Yeah, having to, like, die and stuff is clowny.
And then
Mm,
like you're not gonna run, uh, which is funny on All Stars. Like you're not gonna run Warpless 8-4 All Stars. You're gonna do D4
mhm.
and just your 8-4 times. Yeah, like
Yep.
it's the exact opposite. It's just
Yeah, I
funny how
noticed
that all
that too.
works.
Yeah. Is there actually a Warpless 8 for All-Stars
Yeah.
category? Oh,
hmm
there is, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think I've ever seen people run that either, like,
Well, they
on its
do,
own.
but not on its own. Really,
Yeah.
some people have, but you're not gonna see that a lot. Like, some
Mm,
people only have the All Stars version of the game, so then they do
yeah.
it that way. But yeah, most of the top runs are any percent is just any percent 8-4 is just someone's first half of D4, and then same with Warpless. And then yeah, exact opposite on FTS. You're just gonna continue a run after
The
you
thing
finish
that
it.
the thing that scares me about that game is like all the the wall clipping. Because I can't get Blaze It in SMB
Oh, one,
one, so I'm assuming it's like
oh, one,
similar.
two.
Yeah.
It's similar. It with the 1-2 clip, you do it like a tile higher than you would in Blaze It, so like the jump up to it feels easier, I'd say.
Mm,
But even
okay.
still, like you don't have to do that. There's the invisible blocks you can climb up. People have gotten sub 8 without it. That's
Okay.
how before Blaze It was a thing. That's how people got it.
Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah, that's like the last game you need to run on the NES, Mario.
Yeah.
So, is that
That
happening
well,
though? Hmm.
it will.
Okay,
It will.
good.
um, I seem to recall when I started, I don't think sub 8 had happened yet. It was
Uh,
like,
Darbian got the first sub 8. It was when he was listening to some infomercial where he said, "That's roast beef." That's
yeah,
where that comes
I
from.
remember that. Yeah.
Um, I want to say it was before I started
Okay.
because because what I remember is when I started, he didn't shave for a while, and that he was like doing the whole dragster era and stuff. When he
Hmm.
got that run, he was shaven, so I can only assume it happened before.
Okay.
That it's a weird thing to remember, but that's just what I relate it to, I guess.
Okay. Because I just remember, I remember Lack Attack was really close to that record.
He was a frame rule ahead,
Yeah.
and then or that was no, that was when Cosmic had it.
Yeah.
Cosmic like got a mid 59, and then Lack was a
Okay.
frame rule ahead of Cosmic into 8-4, but then lost too much time and was like point 0.1 slower or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And
That's what
then
I
and then he
remember
stopped there.
is it just seems so random because like Lack Attack doesn't really run Mario. I mean, he has
He,
run the Marios, but like,
he's run the Marios quite a bit, I'd say.
but he's not
Like
like,
Lack taught me Mario 64 in 2018.
yeah. Okay.
Like
Interesting.
he was I think he got a sub 5 really early. Like
Yeah,
I
he's
think it was the
got
top
decent
Mario runner in
times.
every game, but
Yeah.
from like 2016 era.
Okay.
So like before our time.
Right. That makes sense. Because, yeah, I remember just like, I felt like his name being there was so random. I'm like, why the hell? Like,
No,
because
because he was the second person to Mario Hour, I think. I think he did it before
yeah,
Cosmic.
that's right.
He was at
Yeah.
least second place at one point.
Yep.
So he definitely knew
That's
what he
right.
was doing.
Yeah, he's good at all the games.
Hmm.
He's not like top level, but he's good.
I think at the time he played those. He kind of was. Like
Right.
not like world record level, but I'd say top level.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen him run like really any of them much.
Not recently, no.
Yeah. Like he ran like he ran Doki Doki Panic. That
Hmm.
was like the
He
last
had a
one I
run at
remember that was
HDQ
close. Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember that.
I was on the back couch for that one, I think.
Okay.
I just
That
remember Cosmic like ran in and didn't have a headset because he was supposed to do commentary, but he was late to the hotel to. That was the one that was like all snowy and stuff, so I'm sure there was some problem.
yeah. That game is terrible by the way. Like
Oh, Doki Doki Panic.
it's so bad.
Oh,
It's just
it's
like
just Mario 2, but you can't run.
it's it's Mario 2 except they took out all the things that are fun.
Well, they didn't take it out; they added it for SMB 2.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Just yeah, all the because you move so much slower, all the strats are just like way different.
Hmm.
And a lot of them are much harder because of that too.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting.
yeah. Like the wart cycles too, like
Mm.
make oh my god. It's
So I
just
guess
so it's
you've
so
played it
messy.
at least. I haven't played it
I
much.
I haven't played it.
Oh,
I have no. I've seen Cool because Cool Kid has the record for that one too. I
oh,
think.
does he?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I've seen him play it, and I was just like, nope, I'm never touching
Oh,
this
okay.
thing. It's just terrible. Yeah.
I don't
Oh.
remember him playing it, but I guess I just missed out. Because
Yeah.
I know Lack had the record because he grinded it
Yeah.
for that GDQ run.
I think Cool Kid's record is like 20 seconds faster. It's like absurd.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. Let me look this up actually, so I can be accurate here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 20 seconds faster than Lack on the warps. And
Hmm.
then he doesn't have an all, it doesn't look like he has an all levels run on there, which
Yeah.
makes sense. I think I only saw him do the warps run. So,
Yeah, that game's
but
got to
it's an,
feel so much different without being able to run.
yeah. Well, the record's an 11:07.
Oh, wow, that's not too slow then in
Yeah.
comparison.
That's RTA though. The with the load removed, it's 10:51. So it's like,
Oh yeah, you that has loads.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so it's a
pretty significantly
1051 in
slower.
comparison to an 811.
Yeah.
That's not too much slower. But then I remember
Mm,
like as well,
it's like 25%, right?
yeah, but your 50% of your speed is killed.
It's fair.
I guess
The
I
char- the characters don't matter either. Like
mhm.
they're all the same,
Yeah.
and you're locked in. So that was one I like that you can select the different characters. It's kind of with Mario too. It's kind of cool. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is one time save is in Doki Doki Panic, you can only select one character per world and not level like in SMB2. So
mhm.
that's kind of a time save, I guess.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know why I'm arguing this because in SMB1, as someone who's done walkathon, like it's not even 2 minutes slower for any percent.
Hmm.
So I guess it's just kind of the same thing. That's essentially a glorified SMB2 walkathon.
Basically, yeah. It's
Mm.
no, it's
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks jank, man. It doesn't even look like graphically it looks worse too. Like it
Yeah.
just I don't it
The
just
POW
I don't
blocks aren't animated, the waterfalls are seizure inducing,
yeah.
and a lot of the vegetables are like black instead of red leaves. It just looks bland. Like SMB2 is literally it's not just like a like SMB2 isn't just like a glorified Doki Doki Panic, it's like a polished and refined
Mhm.
good version of it.
Mhm.
So I'm tired of all this bullshit that it's just Doki Doki Panic. No, 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 no. It's
No,
so much
it's not.
better.
It's so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
We lucked out in the US, you see.
Yeah, exactly. Like they just made a better game
Except for the
straight
fact that
up.
it's harder than Lost Levels. That's the other thing. Everyone says how hard Lost SME2 is U is harder than Lost Levels.
I think Doki Doki Panic was one of the games they rushed though for the
Mm.
FDS.
It I know it was like a whole promotion thing, so
Yeah.
maybe. And then yeah, it's the same dev team as all the other Marios, so
Hmm.
they had to have been at least a little busy around that time. So yeah, probably a bit rushed.
Yeah, I like how they say they didn't give us lost levels in the US because, they
It
thought we
was
were bad. But the
well,
reality
there
is
was
we
so
didn't have
many
FDS, right?
they would
Like
have had
this
to
was
port it to NES, which they did kind of do with SMB2, but yeah.
yeah, later.
Um like yeah. I guess they never did quite like they could have. It was
Hmm.
possible because it's just like a glorified SMB1 in a sense, but yeah, I think part of it is it was just Mario 1.
Hmm.
Like there's nothing different about it. Like there obviously are differences, but to a casual person from back then, they would just see like harder Mario 1 and be like, "Well, this is kind of boring."
Yeah.
So they knew for marketing they needed like a new game. So it's more than just haha Americans suck at video games. And
Yeah.
again, SMB2U is harder than Lost Levels, so that doesn't even work.
Hmm.
Can't even
I
be
mean,
the reason they gave us harder bullshit.
it's probably easier to beat
I don't.
You know,
Well, FDS Mario 2, and then like when you game over, it shows you continue and end, and you continue. So you don't even have to do
sure.
the A plus start. They give you the
Oh,
option to
sure.
continue from the world. Now in All Stars, you can continue from the level even if you game over, but like you had infinite continues in Lost Levels in SMB 2. You know, you only have 3 or whatever, and then if you game over, you literally have to start from the beginning. Like that alone is my argument for why 2 is
Okay.
harder. 2 use harder.
It's just like Lost Levels has all the weird puzzles that you got to
It
figure out.
does, but I don't know.
They are tricky too. Like
Hmm.
those castle puzzles are actually not easy.
No, they're not.
Um, and just the fact that the game can just warp you back to 1-1 is
Now
just
it can't. The
fucking.
thing about that is, yeah, there's backwards warps, but in backwards warps they include a tile that you can die in.
Oh,
So
okay. I didn't
you
notice
never
that.
have you're never forced to take it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so that's
Not
at
that
least
that's a
good.
great alternative, but
It's not, but
I
you know,
just
if you
love
warp back to
it's
world
so
1 and then
trolly.
game over, you're back at world 1, like yeah, you can at least keep your progress in your world no matter what. You never have to
Yeah,
go backwards.
it's oh man, I don't know why. It's just like I put off learning that game so much. Like it's gonna probably be the last 2D game I learn. Like I'll probably learn
Mhm.
World before it, to be honest. Uh,
I see.
I I do want to learn it. I maybe I don't know. It seems like Warpless could be interesting. Like I think I like Warpless. Like with Mario 1, I definitely like Warpless a lot more, even though
Mhm.
I've ran it way less. So I'm thinking it'll probably be similar.
Um,
Um,
Warpless is really hard though.
it is,
I
yeah.
mean,
I noticed that.
I can tell you firsthand, but it's really punishing too. There's
Hmm.
like unlike SB1, there's not a lot of good places to get back on track if you fuck up something, and it's so easy to fuck up something.
To be fair, I never learned that with Mario 1 anyway. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I take damage, I'm like, I don't really I mean, I kind of know where some power-ups are, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
which ones are actually good to get. So,
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm like the worst runner that has a 1905, I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure, because I just like people like, "Oh, you got a good time. Why don't you, go join the races?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know anything about racing
Yeah.
this game."
You
Like,
didn't. I've practiced race strats. You haven't. There's a difference
yeah,
there. You need to practice
yeah,
race strats if you want to.
exactly.
It doesn't correlate just from PB.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna get my ass beat. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yeah.
just, unless I happen to play perfect, yeah, let me just do that every single race. I'll just do sub 1910. No problem.
I
Yeah.
mean, I can do that, but I do have the notes though, which always
Yeah.
helps.
Well, I have them too. It's just like,
It's
and
still
never,
something you need to practice. You have to practice
yeah,
specifically for race strats, and
yeah. And inevitably
like
for you too. I mean, if you play 5 matches, you're probably not going to get it every single one. You're going to
maybe
fuck up
not.
one of them.
Maybe.
Yeah. Uh, it's the same. It's like S&B3. It's like, I'll pretty much at least get a 52 every time, but like, I'll drop a 53 every once in a while, like it'll happen.
Hmm.
Um, some shit will go wrong. That's just, who knew it was
I'd say
coming.
about 75% of the time I can get a sub 1910,
Yeah, that makes sense.
something like that.
As long as 5-4 works.
Of yeah, 5-4 is not bad with notes. It's there's a lot of complicated different setups and stuff to get good bars, or oh, these POTUS boos will be bad, so wait for them to be safe or whatever.
Hmm.
And then fire bars can just be bad, so maybe
Hmm.
wait in 5-3 or something for a frame rule. It'll be easier, stuff like that. You can
Yeah.
make it easy, but when it's not easy, boy, is it not easy.
Yeah. Well, I just like that duck jump is so tight a lot of times that
Hmm.
it's just like, I mean, you've got to be really ready.
There's
for
like
it.
three
Okay.
type duck jumps. Well, sometimes
Mm,
there's the fire bar
yeah.
that can, if it's not its lowest, it's like it's midway. You do a swipe jump, and then you have the two potaboos that you duck under.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are tricky. That level used to get like that's what got me a lot in
Hmm.
that grind. And then once I started getting past it, then the fucking 6-4 bars would get me. It just, I'd never had any problem until I started actually getting there more often. And then all of a sudden it
Well,
was like,
the fire bars are hard if you don't slow down.
yeah,
Like if you get the good pattern in the middle section, there's these two that are in the way, and you have to like do a small or at least what I do is a small jump onto the fire bar's base and then duck jump
yeah,
kind of
that's
over
what I
it.
do.
That's
Yeah.
hard. I've lost
Hmm.
back when I was like in 2019 when I was doing record stuff in it. I died. That was probably one of the levels I did the most in, just because of those
Yeah.
swipe jumps.
Yeah. I slowed down a little bit there too, just like a tiny slowdown
Hmm.
to just make clearing that last fire bar easier. And it was still hard
Hmm.
because I don't go for like you're going for the frame rule. That's like you don't slow down in that level at all.
No,
You have to have like
yeah,
the
the quick
optimal
Bowser
fire
kill
kill.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I lose one frame rule.
actually, you
Just
slow down intentionally to hopefully get less lag from Bowser.
yeah,
It's all
yeah.
stupid.
Hmm.
Actually, what really sucks about 6-4 is on the All Stars version. I swear the D-pad on the SNES controller sucks ass and doesn't
It
register
does.
half my duck
It
inputs.
does. It's shit.
And you need to duck in 6-4, so I would get hit there constantly. It's
Yeah, I've
so
got
bad.
where is my SNES controller? I've got one around here somewhere. I hate them. I don't understand how anybody can play with them. They're just trash.
Just, yeah, like, it slides around too easily. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like, I
I
feel
don't
like
I
the
don't like
Yeti
the
is.
buttons either. Like I don't know. Like
If
even
they
the
were
regular.
clickier, I'd like them more, and I think there are some controller rubbers you
Yeah.
could get to make them kind of better, but yeah.
Like even the other buttons too, like the A, B, X, and Y. Like I don't really like those that much.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. It's just I don't know what it is. They don't like it seems like they don't make a solid contact with the board where like if your thumb like slips on the button, you'll get like a depress repress. Like that
Hmm.
happens to me a lot
Yeah.
on it.
And then
And that
somehow you can sometimes get a left plus right input,
yeah. And
which is
that
weird.
like that never happens on
You
a
wouldn't get
brick.
that on an
Like
NES. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like when you hold this button like pretty much every brick you ever have is just never gonna
Yeah, you,
yeah,
like the
unless
D-pad's more consistent, the buttons are like almost perfect.
hmm
And yeah, it definitely doesn't feel the same on a SNES one.
um I've got to look into like some custom SNES controllers. I'm sure someone's got something figured out that actually works well.
Yeah, I'll have
Uh,
to look into it more too then.
yeah. Uh, Dom sent me one, and it's the best SNES controller I have. The only problem is it's a short cord, so I've got to switch the board out. He said that should be fine, but
Oh, is it like a
yeah,
Super Famicom one
yeah,
with the
it's
short
the
ass cords? Yeah. I have
the
both.
fucking 3-footer. Yeah.
Like I bought a refurbished Super Famicom for quite cheap because I liked the way it looked. But
Hmm.
then like, the buttons, they're like convex. Like the SNES, like what is it? Y and X
Yeah.
are like concave.
Yeah.
So your
That
thumb
I don't
fits into it.
like.
Oh,
I
I
don't
like
like.
that more because like when you're holding the button to run, I feel like
Oh, okay.
it'll stay pushed down.
I
But I
see.
will say, like I tried to break open my Super Famicom one to like do some work on it, and it has maybe I can find it. Maybe I can find it. Okay. So I have it here, and I don't use it anymore because it's got this like seal thing still on it, and I can't get into it. Like the warranty label thing. I don't know how it works.
Oh,
So I don't even
I
know if this is refurbished. I might have gotten ripped off because if that thing was never opened, it's not refurbished.
I scraped that shit off and I just opened it.
I tried scraping it off. It's
Huh.
fucking permanent. I can't fucking get it.
That's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um.
had something like that too. It was like some sort of fucking weird cover,
Mhm.
but it was just like paper. And I just like scraped it out and then I just
Yeah, it seemed
unscrewed it
like
because I,
my
yeah.
thing is like an orange glue, like
Hmm.
solid glue
Yeah.
thing. I couldn't get it. So I wanted to use that controller for a marathon run I had, and I just couldn't use that controller, so I had someone send me theirs. So
Okay.
now I have this one. And it's a lot better, but yeah, I
There's
know.
probably something you can do to eat through the glue.
Yeah. But Picante was telling me about these controller rubbers you could get to make them feel really good. And the marathon run I was just talking about was with him. So he brought his controller and he had me try it. It felt really good.
Top
And
Gear. It's a Top Gear.
oh
It's what
God,
everybody seems to use.
I think it was just normal controller. I think it was the controller rubbers that were good.
So I've got like the bag of
Like,
controller.
mhm. I'm,
These ones are good. These ones are good, but these are only D-pads. This is Top Gear. I had to go on uh, eBay to
mm.
buy that,
No, yeah,
and it
I
was
don't know what he
expensive.
had, but when I say the buttons, I meant not the D-pad. Like
Okay, yeah, the actual,
the buttons felt really good. But what I
yeah,
need is the D-pad because I remember, like, even with this controller that my friend gave me, that's really good. The
I've got
D-pad
plenty of
still
them.
ate my duck inputs. Yeah, you have a shit ton of them.
Yeah, it was like $30 and then like $20 shipping. Good
Oh,
stuff.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy them in bulk. I'll buy like 5 at most, but they're full sets and I get them from that Swedish shop.
You had to for those. I had to buy them in bulk because it's Japanese seller Top
Mm,
Gear. Like
okay.
it just because the shipping's so fucking much. It
Oh
was
yeah.
like, yeah, 15-20 bucks somewhere in there.
Yeah, there's some company that's supposed to be able to like buy stuff on Japanese sites for you and maybe like make shipping costs better or something. I don't know how true that is.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't even remember what it's called, so hell if I know what I'm talking about, but I feel
Yeah,
like I remember something.
gotta figure out something with that because I Mario World. I'm hoping is sooner rather than later.
Hmm.
So
I need to figure out something so I can get some duck inputs to register for my All Stars runs. Because I don't want to play
yeah,
All Stars until I can do that. Because
yeah,
especially like Warpless D4, like in 7-4 and C4, you have to duck under this fire bar optimally. And if it doesn't register, like I'll look at the footage and Mario will unduck for a frame sometimes and then duck again. But if that happens when you're doing it under the fire bar, you get hit and there's your run. GG.
yeah,
And it happens so
yeah.
frequently. It happened in that race I was just talking about, that marathon run. And I was like,
Nice.
yep, SNES controller. That's why I run the NES.
Hmm. Yeah, I've got to figure out with 64 as well, like how they tune their controllers. I think they
Yeah,
use like a steel stick or something for their.
mine's pretty good. Um, I got like the blue one. It came with everything. It's the normal stick. Um, and I don't have a Hori, so I do my throws on it, but it feels good. I just know someday it won't be good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I've
when
got
it
something like
inevitably
that,
fucks up,
but
I'll have to worry about it. This D-pad feels even worse than the SNES one too. I'm glad you don't use it ever.
yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I my A and B buttons on my 64 controllers are pretty fucked. Like they're like they work. It's just like clearly the pads are just shot
Yeah,
because I used it
I
so
don't know if
much.
mine are good or bad. They work, but I don't like I it's the only Nintendo 64 controller I know, so
Yeah,
I don't know if it's good or bad. I'll have to
yeah,
I think when I went to Pace, mostly Mario 64 runners went to that, and I think I had some of them try mine and tell me if it was good or not. I think they said it was just okay. Like they wouldn't probably use it, but like my stick wasn't bad or anything. It doesn't like get stuck. Although sometimes I swear it'll like hold an up input. and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what's up with that. It's rare, but it
Uh,
happens
they
because
all like go bad
yeah,
eventually.
you have to
Yeah.
keep working on them.
Hmm. That's why, like, I think for a while everyone was moving to like the steel stick where they just replaced it with that, and everyone
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, it's really good." But I feel like I haven't heard much about it. I don't
I
know if
think
it's just
I think
like
they stopped a
expensive
while
or.
back or something.
Hmm.
I don't know the whole Nintendo 64 meta, so I'm
Yeah,
not sure what's optimal.
because they all definitely swap to the Hori for
Hmm.
throws,
For
and I
throws,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
The
really
the steel
know.
stick isn't for throws. In fact,
Okay.
one thing I remember is when I was at Pace, I was using someone's controller, and I'm someone who uses the controller for everything. So I was doing throws with their steel stick, and they were like, "Stop, stop, no!" Because they didn't want me to damage it. You don't use
Mm,
the steel stick
I
for
see.
throws. It's just
I
so like
see.
the stick doesn't break.
I see.
So yeah,
Okay.
the Hori's like what you use for it.
Because you don't care about it. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, as far as I know, replacement sticks are just so the stick doesn't break. In normal
Got it.
gameplay, you wouldn't like do the Mario Party 1 bullshit or the throws
Yeah, you're
with a
not
steel
spinning it
stick.
around.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, that's all I know about Nintendo 64 meta. Other than that, I don't know. Which is weird because I'm getting a lot more into Mario 64 recently, so eventually I guess I'll have to figure out the meta because I'm getting close
Hmm.
to sub hour and 70 now.
Okay.
So I need to prepare for the inevitable.
Yeah, I like the runs. I don't know fucking like any idea. I have no idea how to
It,
do any of the strategies in
that's
the
like one
game.
of the
Like,
most fun runs.
yeah.
For me, it's the most fun run to practice. Like nowadays, I don't practice like games I'm good at anymore. I'll just practice Mario 64 because the movement is fun.
Hmm.
Like even if I never run it, I don't know. Just when I'm bored, that's what I do now. Because I don't find practicing like Mario 1 or 2J fun anymore. I just practice Mario 64 is fun
Hmm.
though, so I'll do that.
Yeah, that's why I went into the other games. It's because
Hmm.
like some of that stuff was interesting. Like just playing it was
Oh,
like apply back to
ooh.
my other runs sometimes too.
Okay, my internet only went out for like 3 seconds, so I didn't disconnect. Pog. You just froze for like 3 seconds, so I didn't
Oh
hear
yeah,
that
I
full
saw that.
sentence. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I learned things from some of the other games that like I apply back to. It's kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Like the midair sniping with Mario
Oh
1
yeah, yeah.
actually helps a lot in Mario 3 in a lot of different spots,
No, cool.
especially if
Because
like
the fireballs work
boss
so much
kills.
differently. Like
Yeah,
you run faster than fireballs in Mario 3 with P
right.
speed, and you'll never run faster than fireballs in SMB 1.
Yeah, but like yeah, so you want to shoot them like closer to enemies when you have P speed.
Hmm.
Um, but like the midair snipes help with things like boss killing because you want to have P speed for
Oh,
boss
okay.
killing, so
I
you
see.
can sneak in some extra fireballs. Like
Hmm.
I kind of do like a seesaw method for some spots too.
The one thing I can think about doing that is in the Bowser fight when you like jump over him. While I'm jumping over him, I'll
Oh
shoot
yeah,
two fireballs and then do it to
yeah.
like start off with a little bit of damage before doing the whole mash strat. Oh, am I out again? Oh, okay, that was just 1 second. I prefer it not to do that though, at all. I don't know
Yeah.
what's up with my connection. Someday, I hope it just works. Today's not that day though.
Um, yeah, it's definitely stuff like that where it helps for. Um, fuck, I've been. That reminds me in Mario One, like I don't even know where to start to get like sub 19. Like obviously I got to do like 4-4 clip, but I don't understand anything to do with the Bowser patterns in that level at all.
Hmm.
Like
Well,
it
you
just
there's not much you can do just because you slow down a lot. So you're basically just looking for a frame rule where every frame is good, essentially.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, which frame rule do people actually use? Like I don't fucking
I
Like, it
mean,
doesn't seem to
I
be
could tell
documented.
you,
Yeah,
not right now because I'd have to like find
yeah,
notes about it. But yeah, like it's documented enough where, and then some
yeah.
people like ones better than others. I know when Cosmic and I were grinding sub 19, I was actually on a different 4-4 frame rule than him because I actually
Mm,
saved a frame rule over what he did with a faster Bowser kill because I liked my frame rule
okay.
more. Actually, what it was is he'd go for 1-3 and I wouldn't, and then I'd go for faster 4-4 and he wouldn't. So we would entering 5-1, we'd be on the same frame rule, but I'd be
Okay.
behind in 4-4 and catch up there because I liked that frame rule better. So it's all just like whatever works for the strat you go for. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's some variation. There's not much you can do about it.
Okay. Yeah, there's some like weird stuff too where saving the extra frame rule in like 1-3, I don't really like.
Just
Sometimes it
don't
works and
even it.
sometimes
I
it just
To
yeah.
this day I don't understand it. Like it.
You'll know when it works because like you'll be holding down and right and you'll just be like you'll fucking zoom and you're like okay, and then most of the time it'll just be like eh,
I still
like
do it where I try to time a right press coming out because holding down
mm,
right doesn't work for me.
yeah. It usually doesn't for me either, but
Yeah.
I've gotten it a few
But
times
I
like
mean,
that way. But
sometimes it looks like you got a higher eight, but lose it and get it. Sometimes it looks like you get a lower eight and get it, and
hmm
my brain doesn't compute.
yeah, it's kind of similar in 1-4 where like I'll hold down right, but like you have to do it at a certain point as you're falling, otherwise you'll like go too
Yeah,
far and
you're.
right into the pit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
but even your jump is like it's got to be like frame perfect where you jump and like keep the speed. It's just really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can just kind of maintain your speed. You have to jump later. Like if you do a frame perfect
Yeah,
jump, you won't get running speed.
yeah, that's what I noticed. Yeah. So it's like you have to down right as you're
Mm-hmm.
falling later and to give yourself enough frames to run and then be able to that one
Mm-hmm.
I can get more often, but I can't do the fast kill. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do that.
Um.
Tried.
Yeah. You can kind of just well, yeah. If you do a full jump, you might bonk the elevator. It's all about like jumping early and getting your shots in at the peak, and then doing the last one when you ride into him, and then you can like push B and jump at the same time, so you like shoot it while jumping into him, and then you're grabbing the axe, and then also both your opening shots have to hit.
hmm
So
And you want
it's complicated.
you want the change pattern too, right? The forward back like the
No,
backward
you want full
forward or
backward.
whatever. Is it full backward? Okay.
You don't want forward because obviously, like that
Yeah.
ruins everything. And then the turn back will most likely you won't be able to get your last fireball out in time.
Mm,
But if he goes full backward,
okay.
that gives you more time to do it.
Okay.
Like it's possible to do it on the
Interesting.
turn back. It's just no, just no. That's what I got to say about it. Is no.
Yeah, I couldn't ever figure that out. That was the other thing. And you've got to do that like 3 times at
Hmm.
least, I think, in that run, right?
Yeah.
Because you do it in that level or 4 times. You do it that level, you do it in 2-4 and
Well, comparing
5
it to
5
me
4.
probably isn't the best thing. Unless you want to, but for like sub 19, you only really need 2, 1-4, and 6-4.
Okay.
You might have to do
And now
well, yeah. Those are the only ones with like that strat, that Bowser kill strat, yeah.
because the 1-4 that should save 2 frame rules if you do
If
like
you're
over normal.
it depends on what your normal is. But I assume yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like my normal isn't like the fast power up grab because I
Okay.
notice when I get that, I save a
For
frame rule,
you
but I
then
don't have
yeah,
to.
it would be
Yeah.
2.
Okay. And then it seemed like what 4-4. I couldn't figure out what that saves. It seemed like 1.7 maybe. I don't know.
Um I don't know compared to you. Um it would for the strat I do compared to what I used to do where it was no clip, it was 1 second. And that
Okay.
I was like getting I guess a high 8. So yeah,
Yeah, I
probably
think
1.4 for like a slower 8, high 7, I think.
Yeah, because I get like
But
a
that's with an
7,
optimal, so it'd be
a
more like
high
a second
7.
for like
Okay.
an not stupidly quick Bowser kill with
Because I
clip.
I wouldn't go for like a crazy fast kill there because like I was looking for particular frame rules for World 5 anyway. So like it
Mhm.
didn't matter if I was like one ahead or one behind. Like I would lose it in 5-4 anyway because you'd have to do a different manipulation at the beginning.
Mhm.
So I'd either lose it in the one case or just stay on the same. Um, I think I think I can gain a frame rule in 5-4 because I don't get like opening shots or whatever. The
It's
Potaboo's
hard to
always
get
in the way.
opening shots there, but
Yeah.
yeah, you'll most likely have lost one there then, because you need like
Hmm.
a you need to barely lose any.
Yeah.
That level's weird because usually you like bonk an elevator, get your shots in, and then you get that frame rule. But 5-4,
Hmm.
it seems harder to get that frame rule.
There there were a lot of times where I was like not losing a particular frame rule in the Bowser fight, so I was saving it. And I'm like, I didn't want to do that because then I'd have to lose one in World 6
Mm-hmm.
to get me lined up on the right frame rule,
Yeah.
which I just do in 6-3. I just like do a bump
Mm-hmm.
off, yeah, on the one spot. But yeah, it was just I don't know. I guess 7-4. There's an extra frame rule for me to save there as well, which I have saved. It's just not
Yeah, you need
consistent.
a specific pattern for that one though, so you need to
Mm,
know when you're arriving. That's one
mm,
where you need a full backward. You can maybe do a change direction one, but not really.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that
and
you're only getting two opening shots at best. It's hard to get both
mm,
because of the Potaboo and Bowser's Fire, and then you like have to hold left and shoot the remaining, and it's either going to be 3 or 4. And if it's 4, you're not going to get it on the turn back. That's not enough time.
yeah, it's all based on that Potaboo because the
Mm-hmm.
frame rule I'd get there, I always get backward. Um, yeah, it was always backward when I would get to him. So because I have a like on my spreadsheet, I actually have the patterns noted. I
Mm-hmm.
did a modified, so I noted like patterns there. I noted patterns in like 7-2, just so I knew what to do at the first whirlpool.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it seems like that strat changes a lot. Like I basically have like two ways of executing the whirlpool, and one of the two will work, but I just need to know what's gonna like which one to do on the particular frame roll.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, did a decent amount of research into that. And I guess I save like an extra frame rule doing one frame wall jump, but that'd be like the last thing. I don't know if that quite gets me to the because I need to save. So I took damage on Bowser, so I lost
Yeah,
whatever time that is, like 0.7 or something. I
you
don't know.
can sub 19 without one frame, but you'd need.
Yeah.
There's a route for it now. I'd have to like research it because sub 19 strats for me were different than they would be today.
Hmm.
Since I was the second person to get one,
Yeah.
it was still primitive.
Yeah. It's one of those things I just like don't know where to even because like the fucking resources for the game are just all over the place. I don't even know
Yeah, it's really
who would
complicated.
know.
Mm.
Uh, that's what I wanted. I want to do a video of strats down to 456, just like everything down to like like I'll do this is what you do in 1-1 if you're going for sub 5. All right, now that you've gotten that out of the way, like this is what I'd work on for 457.
Mm.
Incorporating like if you're planning to go to 456, incorporating like the FPG saves and stuff like that, right?
Mm.
um
It's funny
which
as
is something I didn't do.
I
So
had this very idea that I
yeah.
was gonna work on it, except I'd go all the way down to 454.
Okay. Yeah.
I
It
just
was
feel yeah,
just
there's the tutorials from like 2016, 2017, but I feel like it could be really helpful to have one for like every step. Like
Hmm.
If you just want to complete a run here, all right, sub 5 here, 458 here, 765, and then you could skip to whatever is useful.
Hmm.
I feel like that kind of comprehensive guide would be, and then there could be like a
Yeah.
glossary to explain what BBG, FPG, FA, FFA, D70, D50, whatever the fuck we're talking about over here.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just
I was
everything you
just
need to
thinking.
know.
I was thinking about, I'm like, if you're going for like 455, you probably know a lot of this stuff. So it's probably not that
Maybe,
useful.
but
Yeah.
like if
But
you have a
certain things could be.
456, you probably have never, or you probably have tried, but you probably don't really understand 1-2 clip at least.
Yeah.
Like you would get 8-3 and blaze it, but 1-2 clip is very different than anything you would have learned for 456.
Well, these days people just have a 454 sub of best, and then they don't even have a sub 5. So,
Yeah, I don't understand why you would do that, but yeah, it's true. Like my sum of best is pretty bad in
mhm,
comparison to most people's. Like I think it's a 454.7, but my PB is close to that.
mhm,
And that's not true for a lot of people. Like there's I think people with better sum of best than me that maybe have a 457 or something, and I'm just like,
yeah.
why?
I'd never even gotten like 8.3 FPG. I'd never even tried it when I got my 456. So, like, to put it
Mm-hmm.
in perspective, I think my PB was within like 7 or 8 frames of my actual sum of best. So, because I've had like pretty good 8.4s where like I'd never have gone for fast excels or anything.
Yeah,
So I got like, I think it was like 8C was the fastest one I had. Like the faster 8C with the
fast
backwards
8C
wall
is
jump.
really good for no fast
Yeah,
excel. Wait,
yeah.
no fast excels.
8B. It was either 8B or 8C. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm, that almost sounds impossible.
I think it was because I've had
It's
more than
not,
one eight.
but
I've had more than one 8A,
yeah.
but I've definitely had an 8B. I might have had an 8C. But yeah, like what ended up happening is I
Mm-hmm.
saved a frame in wall jump room that I like never save,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the turn back I had like perfect turn back and then perfect
That's just
water.
impressive because I
Yeah.
remember when to get an 8 number, you would need one fast excel. So if you're getting
Hmm.
better than that with none, seems unlikely.
Well, I
Um,
had,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know how it was. I did a random IL of the level like 3 or 4 months ago, just like one attempt, and I fucking got the 8 letter. I'm like, that's the fastest 8-4 I've ever done, and I
Yeah.
just like randomly fucking did
Yeah,
this.
like
So it's
8F
like,
is the best with no fast excels, but that's with
yeah,
like stupid stuff. At
yeah.
least
I'm pretty sure it was
because
8C. Yeah.
wall jump you're gonna get an 8-3 like perfectly, and then sometimes you get
Hmm.
that bonus 8-4. I know that A8F has an 8-5, and I don't know how they do it, but there's some magical way to get another one out of it. And then
Hmm.
you need to do like this very perfect sub whatever thing in turnaround to get like this super fast thing. So 8C seems like way too fast for no fast excels. That's like I don't know. Lucky 8-4 and then like frame 75 or something and then I don't know.
It was yeah, what was the wall jump on it? Fuck. Trying to
I can
remember.
believe like high 8 numbers easily and maybe and the occasional 8A, but 8C is like what the fuck?
Because I think, I don't know, it said like one frame 136 or whatever, I think, when I did the wall jump, which is like
Oh,
usually I get like 140 or whatever. So it was like,
136.
or
Okay.
137.
Okay.
136 or 136. Yeah,
That
137
is
maybe.
8-4. So that's the
Yeah.
bonus frame. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got the
I
bonus
guess
frame.
you. I mean, it's definitely possible. I
Yeah.
believe it. It's just kind of surprising. I don't know if I've ever done that for
I,
perspective. Maybe.
yeah. Yeah. I did a lot of 8.4s
Mm.
just that way too. So I never practiced like faster 8.4s, but I know I needed to get, I think it was 8 like the slow 8i, right? At minimum was like the slowest it
Yes.
could be.
That
If you
sounds right to me. Yeah,
Yeah, if you don't
something
get
like that. That'd
lag
be
frame,
dot
right?
99. Yeah, which
Yep,
you did. So, lol.
yep, yeah. I got 8i and got
Lamau.
lag framed. Yeah,
8i leg frame
I
moment.
just Yep, yep. And the worst part about that too is I think 8i is like a shitty frame as well for Bowser. Like
Was it
it's
I?
not impossible, but like it's not the easiest.
There's
There's
one that's
either
like all. Yeah, I guess it was I. I thought it was like J or something, but there was one
It
that.
could be J. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember it's
and
like
then eight
I and
two
J.
was bad. I remember
8-2
that.
is terrible.
I
Yeah.
remember 8-2.
You got to jump early. Yeah, for
Yep.
8-2. It's really weird. Uh But what sucks is like every frame around it is free. I remember
Hmm.
that when I got the 8i, I'm like, oh, that pattern's not that hard, but it's not the easiest. But like every frame around it almost is like so easy because like
Hmm.
8k is free, you know,
Yeah,
8-0 is like
free.
normal,
8-1's free. 3,
8-1's
8-4. Yeah,
free, yeah,
they're all free.
yeah, except for 8-2
Yeah.
and like 8j or 8i, I can't
What?
remember.
Yeah, whatever that slower one was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember 8-2 vividly from 456 grinders back in the day.
I started getting 8-2 a lot to work in when I was preparing for that because uh uh I guess I started jumping earlier
Mm.
to just preemptive
Like, could you recognize it, or were you just jumping early?
just jump in a little
Oh,
earlier.
okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
I kind of could recognize them too. Like I in my PB, I think I say exactly what I get. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is 8-1.
Mm.
Because I don't think I was fast enough for 8-4. I was right, yeah. Because
Yeah.
he moved forward. So
Hmm.
I was like, I knew it's not 8K because I'm like, this is pretty good. So it's
But
not
like
8K.
things you can tell is like Bowser's fire can
Yeah.
be in 3 different locations. If the hammer bro throws a hammer or not, or what he does, the Podoboo can sometimes be.
Yeah.
Although usually multiple frames in a row, the Podoboo will be at least similar. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can kind of get an idea. But it's a lot to compute at the very end because
Yeah.
that's all done in like 2 seconds, and then after that
Yeah.
you're
Because
jumping over Bowser or under him or whatever.
it was the fire. You're right. Like I would kind of react to the fire because I think you get like a mid fire or some shit when you get 8-2. And
Okay,
it's different because like if you get a low fire, I'm pretty sure that's the one where I'm like, yeah, I got a low fire. This shit's it's done, dude. It's easy.
easy.
Because I'm pretty sure he moves forward on low fire on most of the frames. So
Yeah, I don't remember too
yeah,
much. It's been way too long since I had to
well,
worry about all that.
well, you're going for faster 8-4s than that anyway. So
Much faster.
yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
the times have changed.
It's kind of wild that I think the last 4 times I made it out of wall jump room, 3 of them PB and the other one died in water.
Hmm.
It was literally 457 and then 457.01 died in water and then 456. But I had several attempts in 8-4. Like it was like the first 10 attempts or some shit on 456 pace. I died, like the run died on the very first jump in the wall jump room. It wasn't even, I'd never even made it to the wall jump. Like it would die on that jump or I
Hmm.
would make it out.
Yeah, for me it was always wall jump that
Hmm.
I couldn't do. Like for me, it's the opening jump's so much easier
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
you have to face left, you turn around, and
Yeah.
depending on how you did that, like you can just not hit a pixel because it's
Yep.
all subpixel bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know, I figured out a way of just like based on where Mario was relative to the ground, I was just like I had a good rhythm for like left right.
Yeah,
And
if you could consistently get the same turnaround, you'll
yeah,
consistently get the pixel. It's just hard to do that. At least for me, it was
yeah.
hard to do that back then.
I must have been like doing it like 1 frame from the ground basically, so it was just like left right. So it was just like, perfect because you don't want to be too slow there, right? Because when you're too slow, it doesn't let you jump.
It's-
Um,
it depends. I'm not sure exactly what's better and what's not,
mhm,
but I know sometimes if you slow down more, you can get that 8-4 actually. So going slower can be like a
mm,
faster wall jump sometimes. It's weird.
yeah, because you get the better jump up,
And
right?
what people do now is, they hold down right for a couple frames earlier, and then if you do a perfect turnaround, you get 8-4 every time. So,
I see.
but that's more of a subpixel manipulation more than a purposeful slowdown. Because I
Yeah.
don't know if you even
Okay.
get slowed down that much doing it that way, but
I just noticed I would save more frames, like just focus on doing a smaller jump on the wall jump, like the
mhm,
smallest jump I could. A lot of times I would get like the 137. Um, I've gotten 136 before, but that's the
that's
one with the subpixel manip, right? Where it's just like
that's
random.
8.5. That the one people subpixel manip for is 8.4, the 137.
Mm,
Um, getting 136, I don't understand how that works. It's like
yeah, it's random. It
s-
seems like it's just like
super
fuck.
random, super frame perfect, super something or other. I don't understand. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is possible. I don't think I've ever done it though. Maybe. I don't understand 8.5. 8.4 it makes sense though. That's the one people do now.
hmm Yeah, I've only gotten it like once or twice, but I know I've gotten it because I was like, wait, what the fuck? How did like okay. I just do a wall jump where it gives me 140, and then that one's like 136, and then the next one's like 137. It was always the same numbers. It was always like 137, 140, 142. Those were like, I'd get one of those
Yeah.
basically.
The only thing I can remember doing is, if you do third room fast excel perfectly, you'll get frame 71. That's like perfect.
Mm,
Um, but sometimes from some stupid subpixel thing, you'll get 70. But one time with Fire Mario, I did a fast excel just for fun in the practice thing, and I got 69. And
hmm.
I think it's because Big Mario has like a different way that works or something. But I was just like, what? I think first I said nice, and then I was like, wait, what the fuck? Because I was like, I've never seen that before. I know it's
Yeah.
possible people know about that now, but yeah, same with 8.5. I don't understand it, but it does sometimes happen, apparently.
Yeah, that was funny. I I fucked around with it the other day, and I randomly had like an 8.4 that with Fire Mario that's faster than the one in my any percent PP. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, nice. Just yeah, went for the backwards wall jump, got frame 137 somehow. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Hmm.
Have a perfect turnaround. I'm like sick. Didn't even touch in the middle of the fire bar
Yeah.
in the water.
But you were
Just
holding
like,
down just in case, right?
of
Okay,
course, yeah,
good, good.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I know people that didn't. I mean, I used to be one of those people that would hold right the whole time. You can't do
yeah,
that. I,
yeah. I
I know
learned.
now, but don't be holding right.
Yeah, that
Once you
room.
reach full speed, never press right again unless you touch down, and then I'll after the fireball section, even instinctively, even if I know I didn't hit the ground, I'll hit right for a little bit again, just in case,
Oh, sure.
just to make sure you maintain that full speed. There's your tip of the day for people watching,
That's a good
because
one, actually.
I know I have water section issues from the past, so I know.
It's really hard with fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's much harder with fire, yeah. You have to duck, and you don't want to duck too long because when you're ducking, you're potentially losing frames. And then
hmm
there's the middle section where if you fuck up the duck, you're getting hit, deal with it. And then the end, the firebar can be in the way. So if you're not ducking at the end and get hit, that can happen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very hard. But I love when people freak out because of the duck swim. So his hitbox
Yeah.
clearly just touches all the fire, and they're like, "Oh, nice cheating." It's like,
I
yeah,
find it.
get
Yeah, I
good.
find it harder to line up at the end to get in the pipe with
Mm-hmm.
fire. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
I'll fucking short that platform so often. I'm like,
Well, you're taller. You're like used to
yeah.
seeing Mario's head closer to the pipes when it's up. It's like it's something you need to get used to. It throws you off.
hmm
I know what that feels like.
Plus, I do it differently from all the other people. You all do like a single swim into the pipe, but I do like a double swim from like a dip into it because it's just like what worked
Cosmic does a
for
triple
me.
swim into it.
Mm,
Like, yeah, I do like a double swim up and then like do a single hold falling into it. Yeah,
yeah.
it all depends on what feels better.
Yeah, it almost looks like you clip the platform. You get so close to it. Like you clip into it.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
um, which it depends because you don't want to like touch the ground that early because Mario would walk to the pipe and lose a couple frames there then.
Hmm.
But yeah, what you're probably seeing is you will kind of clip in, but Mario won't touch until he's closer to the pipe, and then it
Right.
doesn't. So
Because
yeah,
you
that's when
swim
you're
up
lower.
to the,
Yeah, so he's
yeah.
still moving up before. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what that. People now, what I see is like they swim super high up close to the fire bar and then hold a button and they fall into it. But I'm like,
Okay.
if you're 1 pixel higher, you're bonking the pipe. Like I can't. I'm not risking that shit.
Right.
I'm going on the ground. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little
That's what I
scary.
see. That's what I see mostly is like what I've seen. Like I think Nifsky does that where the same as you, where it's just like he swims
No,
from
I think
below.
he's the one that I'm talking about that
Is he?
falls into it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he
And maybe
changed
it
what he did.
depends. Maybe it's
Yeah.
different for fire or something. I don't know, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm
Maybe
talking
it
about
is.
small
Yeah.
Mario.
I was
Um,
thinking about Small Mario too.
yeah, okay.
Thought
Uh,
that's what he did, but maybe not.
I don't know. My brain could not be working too. Who knows?
I just I the thing that's interesting is I feel like I'd never see them fuck that up though. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised. Like I need to be closer to the ground. I'm too scared to.
Hmm.
Ever since I lost 456 to bonking the pipe, I'm too scared about bonking the pipe. Which is funny because I had a PB that would have been like a really good low 56, but it was like a dot .3 because I bonked the pipe. Like I don't know. I'm
Classic.
low. I'm a low because I don't trust myself being too high and bonking.
Classic.
Classic. So all this has to be one talk. So are
Yeah.
you going to 455 or
Uh I don't know how to do Blaze It. Like I've
well,
tried.
if you knew
Um
how to, would you? Because you know you have to 1-2 clip.
it depends. I mean, I would look into it,
Mm.
you know. I don't really have any interest in getting lower 456s though.
Okay, so it's either 455 or you're
Yeah.
not going to do any. Okay,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 450,
got it.
like mid 450. I don't care.
You
I
don't
don't
care.
care about, I
That
don't
that
care
that's
about
fair.
low.
But
Yeah.
sub 19 though. Yes.
That I care about.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I would like to get sub 19 for the reason I mentioned is just like no one has a combination of all those times. And,
Yeah.
you know, I probably can't be the best at any individual game, but I could be the best overall. Right.
That's an option.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
I'd like to someday be good at everything. That's always been kind of my goal because, I've had the Famicom trilogy record for a few years now,
yeah.
but that's because I know Lost Levels a lot better than 2U, and I got lucky on that run and got no hands because I don't
Yeah.
think
I
my
saw that.
SMP3 was that good or something. But yeah,
Yeah. I want to run that as well. So that's why I need to learn to you because I think it'd be like uh I want to just have like a lot of world records in the multi-game categories.
hmm.
So then I can just like, you know, I need to get I need to get all the Nest trilogy. That's why I need to get this 109 done because I think the other two records, I think I will get them.
Warpless and Hundo,
Yeah, I
got
think I
it.
will get them pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the difference between 100% and Warpless is just SMP3 too, which is funny.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, the game that I'm the best at is the most important for
Yeah,
both of
for the
those.
longer ones because they're so long.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So, you know, and it's not like those records are good. It's just like I think ILM got like a 111 in SMB 3 in
Mm.
Hundo, and I think I can get a 110 just at the end of that run. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I think I can. Like, I think most runs, if I were to no reset right now, would be 110s. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
I would see that number the most often, and that's weird to say because there's like so much shit that can go wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like the level of consistency that I play at, I don't lose like I don't ever see the like 10-second time losses. I might see like the 5-second time losses and they're brutal, but I don't see like and a lot of the runs that I get a 110 on, I lose, even mid 110, I lose like 20 plus seconds and fucking 7-7 over just not, going for the
Yeah.
clip. So it's just, yeah, I think eventually I would break through on there. The the part of that is the most interesting is probably the warpless run for Mario 1 because I don't really
You would have to like
know.
learn the race strats for
Yeah, kind
consistency
of.
purposes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how good what ILM has the record.
He has a sub 1920 in the
Like
100%.
I don't think that's hard if you know what you're
No.
doing.
Yeah, I can
Like
get
I
that with
can
safe
consistently get
safe
sub
strats.
1920s without notes. Just play
Yeah.
everything safe. But yeah,
The safe
1900X would
A4s
need
are the
notes
force.
100%. But yeah,
Yeah.
like my my last marathon run that used notes, as you know, since you were there, and I like tied your PB almost.
Hmm.
And then the marathon run like right before that, that was in person. I got a 1914 without notes. So
Okay.
now that's like no mistakes. You still have to play perfectly, but you do all the safe strats, which
Hmm.
maximizes your chances of not fucking anything up.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
really
that's what
just
I recommend most for something like that.
it's really just like 5-4, 6-4 safe strats, right? The only
Yeah,
thing
but
that
5-4,
I
you
hate.
just you wait for a little bit to
Hmm.
get the good bars, and then you wait for the Potaboos, and then I guess
Hmm.
Bowser's Fire is then kind of in the way, but if you know how long you
Hmm.
waited, you can avoid it, and you're taking it safe anyway. And then 6-4 is ultra free. You can duck under the first Potaboo every time, and then you just wait for the fire bar, and then free bars every time, no matter what. It's great.
I feel like I don't know why. I think I can get 0x times consistently with notes. I feel like I can get there and do that. It
Yeah,
just
you need to
'cause-
practice it a bunch, but yeah.
yeah, because like even going through and fucking around with some of the levels a little bit, like I feel going through that grind uh a lot better. Because like the things that trip me up a lot, I don't think it'll trip me up as much because like 5-4 was a really big hurdle.
Hmm.
Um, in
Yeah.
that grind. And so now I kind of understand like, oh, I can run a little further before duck jumping to give me that extra clearance.
Hmm.
Um, and just understanding for that one bar, I think makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So,
So So future projects for you, we
mhm.
said SMB1 and then NES trilogy, but there are some other big
that
ones.
Nest trilogy is going to be like that is the next thing
Hmm.
after 109, 100%. It's yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Um,
But
yeah.
you said you talked about World and 2J, so obviously there's more.
Hmm. Yeah. So in my mind, nothing changes. I think the order right now is 100%
Mm-hmm.
Nest
109.
trilogy warpless and 100%,
Yeah,
and then probably world is going to be next. I think,
World. And
in my
is
mind.
that what category? or just all of them?
I think I'm gonna do a bunch.
Yeah, okay.
I'll probably fuck around with a little bit of 11 exit for a bit, and then I want to do like no Star World probably. No Star World 90s. I want to do 96 exit. Like that's what I would work
Yeah.
towards because it's the only run that I really find interesting
Mm.
in the game. Just because it has everything.
It does have
I think
everything. It's the
yeah.
100%, so essentially.
So like that's probably the one that I find the most interesting would be that. But I think it's beneficial to maybe do like no Star
No
World,
Star
maybe
World,
all
yeah.
castles, maybe.
I
So
don't know too much about the difference between all castles and no Star Worlds. I know they're very similar in their length,
yeah, it's
but
basically you just don't use Star World.
yeah, I know no Star
It's
World
just
is
warpless.
warpless,
Yeah, yeah.
then then there's all castles sandwiched in between that and 96, and it's so close
Yeah.
to the time of no Star World. I've just never understood it personally, like huge amount of what the difference is.
Yeah, it's just like you'll use no Star World to get to some of the castles faster.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
I guess no Star
Really
World,
it.
you do skip a couple forts or something. I just
Hmm.
feel like you almost play every. They have to be like very close to the same category almost. Like some minor route
They're
changes.
they're fairly close.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know what would be better for like learning 96.
yeah. I think. Hmm. Trying to think. So I think for all castles, no. What is like? So okay, here's a major difference. So I believe in no Star World, you take the secret out of like Vanilla Dome,
Mm-hmm.
right? Versus
And then
going to
okay,
the
to get to that
third
port.
castle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's like a
All
major.
right, that is significant, I guess.
Yeah, because then you just go
That's like the
straight to four.
only route change then, I feel.
Yeah, it's like the major one.
Yeah. Like yeah,
Hmm.
the only major route difference.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Which is pretty significant, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like um, you know, they're not like massively different categories.
No, they're not. I just know their times are so close to the same thing.
Yeah, which is why, because yeah, it's just like you're flipping one route for the other. Basically,
Yeah.
it's almost the same number of levels, I think. So,
But yeah, World
um,
School. God, I need to do more shit.
yeah,
I'm so
uh,
stuck on the same goddamn things. I need to branch out too.
mm-hmm.
Grinds just take too
It,
long. You would know.
yeah, yeah. If you get stuck on them, which I tend to, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's because like I set goals pretty high, I
Yeah,
guess.
they are.
Um, and yeah, that makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, SMB1, you know, that could be after trilogy
Mm.
because I'll be like, I thought about this when
Practiced
I
for
did.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought about this when I did any percent. I'm like, well, man, this would be like a decent time because when I did the any percent trilogy, I was getting like multiple 458s an hour. It was like,
Mm.
it was almost like every other run or something
Mm-hmm.
was just a completed 458. So I was pretty consistent. Um, I was even like messing around with FPG again. I was like, I just don't know how to do any of this other stuff, so I don't really care about getting a mid 456.
Yeah.
I did some offline attempts after I got mine, and I even made it to 8.3 like a few times. I'm just like, I don't really want to do this. That like I just don't like grinding off stream.
Yeah, no.
It's not something I didn't really want to grind it on stream because like I what I noticed when I did that is I would get sick of that category like 2 hours in, and I'm like I still want to stream for longer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Like, you can always just do something else.
you can, you can,
Mm.
but it kind of takes, in my experience, it could take away from. if you're trying to do something really tough, kind of
Oh.
takes away from it.
Hmm.
Be-
Maybe.
yeah, I don't I don't know what it is. Like even Mario 3, the routing's so different. Like switching between 100% and warpless, I think is not. It's you can do it. You can be pretty good, but it's not. You're just not the same. I don't know. You're just not as crisp with like decision making and menuing and stuff. Doing it that way.
Oh, when I said switch to something, it could be anything, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But then I was thinking about that too. I'm like, well, if I'm practicing SMB2 while I'm doing 100%, then like I'm having a little bit of conflicting muscle memory.
maybe. I know
Some
if it was
yeah,
like a similar game, sure, but I feel like if they're different enough, like my mind recognizes that. Like I feel right
yeah,
now I could play Mario 64 and do something cool and then play Mario 3 and do something cool in a level and
yeah,
then my SME1 won't be affected or anything.
yeah,
I can kind of
yeah.
switch between it.
I think what happens is because like I'll practice before doing the runs, and so part of that prep for the stream is doing the practice. But then if I switch games, then I have to go into practice for that game because I
Yeah,
like, uh, yeah, that's kind of where it is. So
I guess
it's
it
like
makes
if I switch,
sense.
yeah, because I can't like practice SMB3 and then practice SMB1 and then play SMB3. Like
Mm.
it, I just don't think I'm as crisp when I do it that way.
Yeah, you need practice in between different stuff.
Hmm. Which takes time out of the stream and like it's boring. So
I guess.
yeah,
It just depends, I
yeah.
feel.
I mean,
So,
it's not boring for me. I think it's boring for the people watching. I can
yeah.
tell.
I mean,
There's just nobody talking because it's just me like fucking playing IL.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Um, so is there anything else in the future? Or is no Mari hour? That'd be cool, right?
Yeah. I mean, eventually, once I learn all the 2D games, then I got to learn 64, which I'm like,
Yeah.
I know what the tricks are. I have no idea how to do them.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried to do like LBLJs, and I just like
It's
I don't
hard.
fucking yeah.
It's complicated. It's very different, but
Yeah, you say that, and then when I watch people do it, they're just like fucking spamming the button. You're just like,
yeah.
the fuck is this? Like I do that and it doesn't work. They just have this like
Well, you
rhythm
need
because
to
they've
have the
done it
right
for
angle and the control stick
yeah,
and yeah, but yeah, I mean to build up the speed, you just push A a bunch.
yeah.
That is how it works.
There,
SBLJ
yeah,
is the one that doesn't make any sense. I feel like that just
yeah.
sometimes works. That's all I got. It sometimes works, very rarely, but it'll work sometimes.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's even I've seen it plenty inconsistent for top runners. So yeah, I don't know how SBLJ really works
the clipping out of bounds shit too. It's like, oh fuck, yeah, I got to
for
do
like
this at the end of an
LBLJ.
hour run. Yeah, it's just like,
Oh
what
no,
the
you
fuck?
mean okay
Yeah, like for
for 120
zeros.
clipping. Uh,
At least for 120, you don't have to do that for a while, right? Because it's not like a huge time save. But
I get I don't I don't know where you clip out of bounds.
um, in at the beginning of the run when
Oh, you
you
just mean
fucking open the
LBLJ.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, LBOJ, yeah.
Yeah, where you clip outside the castle and then turn back into it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
You
like,
you
I
said
don't
like an hour in, and I got confused. But you mean you don't have to do that
oh
an hour in?
yeah,
You do it
I
right
meant like
away.
an hour out, an hour into the Mari hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, Mario.
Yeah.
We're on Mario.
Yeah.
We sorry,
Yeah.
we were talking about 120. I got confused.
Oh yeah, no, you don't do that an
I see. I
hour
see.
in.
Yes.
Although
Yeah.
you
What's
know I'm
harder is doing
surprised.
SBLJ after that, after all that in Mario Hour.
Sure.
Like that's I
Sure.
find
Yeah.
LBLJ so much easier than SBLJ. Like
Yeah.
the clipping out a bounce part isn't really the hardest part of that trick, and then SBLJ just doesn't make sense at all to me.
Yeah, I
But
don't get
yeah,
that one either.
it's yeah, it definitely sucks doing all of that at the end. You just played 5 games, and you're good at 2D games, so like I know it all went well. Oh, here's the only run that matters now at the very end. 50
Yep.
minutes in, here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Slade's
Mario Hour.
figured it out though. So I have
He has
hope.
seemed to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, that gives me hope because like he fucking didn't know anything either. Like he just kind of went in and was like, all right, you know,
Yeah, he went
he,
in, got it, and now is in it a lot.
mm-hmm.
It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
I'll
yeah,
have
I have
to
hope.
give it a legitimate try someday. But God, there's just so much to learn.
Yeah, you know what fucking is so surprising is that because you can do all the like BLJ stuff,
Mm-hmm.
why people don't just go for carpetless early in the run?
Um, you can,
Yeah,
uh, but you have to. What is it? You get LBLJ, you get Dark Worlds Reds, and then you
yep,
go to the basement, get SBLJ, which is stupid to do in 120 at all. But I guess you are doing it early. Not that that matters.
mm-hmm,
And you go to Dark World, do the sub star, then you go to Fire Sea, you get the key, you go up, you BLJ past the 50-star door, you go into Rainbow Ride, you do carpetless, and then whatever. But doing all of that perfectly, that route saves like 15 seconds
yeah.
instead of doing it at the end would be like, I don't know, 50, 45. Like at that
Yeah,
point, it is not worth it. It's
but
like
you're
doing, it's like doing 7-7 in Warpless.
but you're never gonna do it at like no one ever does it at the end of the run because it's so like
Yeah, but the amount of stuff you'd have to do just to do it at the beginning, like, makes it
yeah.
like pointless. I feel.
I feel like I'm talking about like the really top level people. I feel like they
I
never
still
have problems with that shit. Like I feel
uh,
like
well, still, I don't
I
think
don't
any
know
of
what
them
it
have it.
is.
Carpetless itself is already ridiculous, and
Yeah,
I don't think I know of a top 120-star runner that has even done it once. Like everyone that
no
does it are
one's
like IL grinders.
yeah, no one's done it in a
So
run.
I don't
Yeah,
see it. I don't see it happening ever,
that's
really.
why that's why I said it's like the only way it's viable is if you do it at the beginning of the run because it's just
Yes,
way too
but
risky. Yeah,
if you do it at the beginning, it's almost pointless because the time save isn't enough to matter. Not in that run, at least.
for now.
I don't.
15 seconds is a lot of time. That's a lot of time, you know. But yeah,
Uh,
I know what you mean. But yeah, like 15 seconds is like, I mean, that's 7-7. That is 7-7. You
yeah.
know?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
it's like doing 7-7 in Warpless, but you'd have to do
Hmm.
all this other bullshit just to make it worth it. So, is it worth it? And it's not like even if you were doing 7-7 at the beginning, it's like even harder than doing 7-7 in
Yeah.
Warpless where it is now by a lot. Like it just
Hmm.
doesn't make sense, I don't think. But I'm not a Mario 64 runner, so I can't really, well,
Yeah.
I can't really speak for them, but that's what it
Yeah.
seems like.
I'd be curious how much time it actually does save if you did it like that route you mentioned.
Hmm.
Because like I feel like if it was 20 seconds, like I've and it's something like you can reasonably get like it might be worth it for someone to do it, like,
I
or
know,
at least
but
try it.
SBLJ
Fuck
and then
fuck around with it.
BLJ again. Like you're already doing LBLJ in
Yeah,
120, but SBLJ in 120 is stupid.
yeah. C The other thing about it too is if you incorporate the route like that, it gets you in the practice of actually doing it, and what if, like, the side effect of that is you just get better at doing
Yeah,
carpetless, you know?
well, yeah, Carpless is the hard part, but
Yeah,
you also have to do a 1-star run just to get there, and then
yeah,
continue your 120s. So it's just super complicated, and that, like, if you did Carpetless at the end, that's
mhm.
50 seconds as opposed to 15 or whatever. Maybe it's even not that much. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is about that. It's like 45, 50 seconds. It's quite a bit, but, like, you're not going to get it.
Yeah,
But
no.
I was just thinking like the side effect could be like you get better at it, and maybe like you start doing it at the end of the run instead, and you actually get it like once,
Well,
and it's just like
I don't think this is something we have to worry about for a while because
mm-hmm,
136 is like capable right now pretty easily without it. Maybe even a 135 is capable without it right now, but
mm-hmm,
that's significantly more ridiculous.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, what Liam the other day, he just got a PB, but he was like OX pace into bits, which
Pretty world record.
yeah. No, he
Oh
didn't world record, he PB, but he was on pace to beat record by like 30 seconds
yeah,
into bits.
yeah.
And then
Okay, so you had a
through
disaster.
45 seconds away in bits or something. Because of course he would. It's fucking 120 star bits at
Oh
on world
man,
record pace, of course. But yeah,
wow.
yeah, it's quite ridiculous. Mario 64 is a video game.
I I'm surprised, like, yeah, just how often that happens in that fucking stage in particular.
Hmm.
Like, that's just wild to me. Um, I it's so interesting. I feel like you know what it is. I think it's like part of it. I like never see them finish out runs. Like as soon as the run dies, I swear to God, they all fucking reset. Even
Yeah,
if they're at Rainbow Ride, right? Like they fucking reset, and it's just like
not all the time, but yeah, I've definitely noticed that sometimes.
it's like just play another 5 fucking minutes and
Yeah,
finish the run.
I think if they're
These,
that far, they won't. But
yeah,
yeah, maybe if they're in upstairs but not tippy, yeah, sure.
yeah.
It
I'm like,
depends.
dude, if there's 10 minutes left in the run, just fucking finish the run. Like,
Yeah,
like that's
get some free golds,
what I've
maybe
learned.
go for
Yeah.
golds. Yeah, like there's incentive to still continue
Hmm.
sometimes.
But it's weird. It's just like a mentality thing where
Yeah,
that's
like
one thing I noticed with Mitch is like I never understood why, like, dude, Mitch, your run's fucking dead. You're 30 seconds behind. You're gonna play all of World 8 and play these auto scrollers. And
yeah.
I don't think he does it uh for the reason that I think it's actually good, but I think he does it because people like to see finished runs. But I
Hmm.
think the side effect is he's much better at finishing runs because he does it as
Yeah,
well.
which helps in marathon settings
Yeah. And
and
helps
whatever
when you're on
else.
pace
Yeah,
too. Yeah. It's just like you're used to.
consistency is better.
Hmm. So that's why I'm like, yeah, like Liam's so bad at fucking he'll just reset and Rainbow Ride every time. Like he fucking will not finish the run. I swear
Mm.
to God, unless he's changed. Like I swear, like
I
he'll
I
fuck up a
haven't
star and just be like, I'm
I haven't
done.
seen enough to notice.
Okay,
So
yeah, maybe he's changed. I don't know, but I used when I used to watch him all the time, he would like fuck up something on good pace, and then he'd just get stuck in like an hour-long practice loop of random shit, like every time, just
hmm,
fucking tilted. It was just really weird.
well, yeah, I don't know about that. I have met him in real life though, and I lived to tell
Yeah,
the tales. So there you go. He can't be too
nice.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't. He's not like crazy or anything. He's
Oh
just like
no.
he's really uh
Uh,
into his runs,
yeah,
obviously. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's just
I don't
I
know
don't
if
know.
I don't know if I should say this. I don't know if I'll get murdered for this, but yeah, his online stream personality is a persona, definitely.
Yeah,
Right.
well, of course,
But
everybody's kind of is.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I don't think mine is. I don't. Well, I have no personality, but I mean,
I think it's different if you're streaming full time, you'd probably develop one
maybe.
because it's just
I
part of
guess you
the
have to
yeah.
because that's what people like are there for.
Hmm.
Not that I would know, but uh,
Yeah, it's kind of part of it. You kind of develop something that works, and
I don't think Cosmic has like a stream personality. I think he is just who he is, and he's full time.
is he really full time? I feel like he's pretty
I guess not
inconsistent.
full-time streamer, but I mean,
Yeah,
his job is content
content creator.
creation.
Yeah,
So you can make the
he's a lot
argument.
heavier in the YouTube now. I think it seems like
Well, yeah,
so.
that's where the money is, but I
Yeah,
mean, if he had the time, I'm sure
yeah.
you'd see more of it.
But also, like, I think that's part of the reason maybe his streams aren't bigger too, because like, you know, I don't really see a
Maybe.
big difference between Mitch and Cosmic outside of that. Like, they both have like the same credentials, more or less.
But
But Mitch is significantly larger because he like he's gotten really good at the persona stuff,
it's weird because,
entertainment.
I've met Mitch in person. He seems kind of the same as he does on stream, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like a developed persona. It just seems like he's being himself. When I talk about Liam, I mean he literally is a different person.
yeah,
So maybe that example isn't a good
yeah.
example, but that's just what I
I
meant when I said that.
yeah. I see what you mean. Most of the time, people like play up certain parts of their
Yes.
personality versus be like a different person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like you can do it both ways, I
You
guess.
can.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way as Mitch. I think where I like I'm way more. I think I'm just way more animated on stream. I don't think I'm very animated normally,
I'm
but
not animated. Actually, I'm probably less animated on stream than I am off. Uh,
yeah,
I don't know. I've never quite figured it out, which is, I guess, why I'm like the only one out of all the people I know from speedrunning that isn't partnered or anything, or even close. Who streams regularly, I should. Well,
well,
not that I have recently, but I meant back in the day when I did.
yeah. Well, part of it was like there's so many other things working against you is like not being on camera.
Mm-hmm.
You used to not be on camera for like, you had the anxiety
Yeah,
stuff obviously, so
hell
which
yeah.
makes sense, but like that fucking like that hurts
No, it
obviously. Like
does.
yeah.
I knew, like I knew that.
Yeah.
I've never streamed to like, oh, I want to be massively
Mhm.
popular, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just unfortunate
Just
in
like
a
weird stuff.
sense. Like
Yeah.
you still care and you still want to succeed in some fashion. Like there's passion there, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I know why. But it just still doesn't. Those are just the facts.
And you
Is what
never
I'm saying.
got the any percent record.
I know.
That's
No,
like
yeah, that's the
that's
only
the
reason,
big one.
really.
That's honestly it probably is.
I have
Like it
175 confirmed world records.
yeah,
Most of them are in SMB1. Never
yeah,
had any
but no
percent, so no one fucking
no
cares.
one cares.
That
Yeah.
that's how it works.
And it's not like people in speedrunning obviously care, but like nobody outside of speedrunning gives a shit
Yeah.
about like
No, that's
anything. Yeah.
what and I've just thought about it because it's funny to think about, but I'm like popular in the speedrunning community. I can like I
Yeah.
almost know everyone and almost everyone knows who I am.
Yeah.
Outside, who mega lol.
Yeah.
That's just
Right.
how it is. It's just
Yeah.
weird how disconnected it is when you think
Mhm.
about it like that.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Because
cuz you didn't
speedrunning
have
is
the
so
right record.
popular,
Yeah.
but I don't know, like the people that watch it and the reason it's popular is because they always watch the popular people.
Yeah.
And then like there's so many people that the speedrun community knows plenty of, but they don't get recognition outside of it despite how
Yeah.
massively popular the whole hobby is.
And like Mitch has gotten a lot of like outside exposure,
Yeah, he's been on
Colbert,
Colbert, yeah.
Grand Pooh Bear, he's done a lot of stuff with him, and like Pooh is, like one of the most
Oh yeah.
recognizable Mario players in the entire world. So,
Yeah, he's
like
one of the
yeah.
most popular streamers on the
Mm-hmm.
platform. One
Mm-hmm.
of.
So, doing a lot of stuff with him, and like Pooh does a lot of stuff with other people that are pretty large as well.
Yeah,
Mitch
I was in
also
a
like
Pooh event, so
yeah, yeah, but you're not in like every Pooh event,
oh
right?
god
Like
no.
Mitch is in
I was
like
in
every
one,
Pooh event.
and I was
Yeah.
only there because Cosmic was in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, Mitch is in like all those. He's always in GDQ, like
Hmm.
always in GDQ,
Sometimes even
and
closing it out.
yeah,
which
So
is a big deal.
all that stuff like adds up
Hmm.
massive,
Oh yeah.
and for you as well, I guess, were you in the Mario 1 Warpless, like Summoning Exalt video?
Of course. I had the
Yeah.
record.
I'm trying to remember, like, when it was
It
made
was sub
because I know.
19.
Okay, okay. That's what I thought. I was like, I'm pretty
I,
sure
I
you
was
were
I was only
in
mentioned
there
for
with a
the
record.
because I had a 1902 record,
That's
and I
right.
was mentioned
Okay.
for that. But once it came to sub 19, I wasn't mentioned again, even though I was like grinding it the
Yeah.
entire time too. But
Yeah.
whatever, it's fine. Who cares?
That's yeah, that's the thing is like
My
you
channel grew
and
the
that was
most when I was in that video. Like I
that
had a
that makes
spike. I
sense.
was maybe averaging 30 then,
Yeah.
and then I have fallen off completely ever since, and it's just gotten worse, which is fine. Like I'm still gonna
So
do
yeah.
it, but it's just once you start streaming, especially for almost 6 years now, you just notice like it's a numbers
Mhm.
game. You notice it.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you worry about it too. I'm sure everyone worries about it. That's just how it goes.
I think
At
I
least a
used
little
to.
bit.
I think I used to. I think
Yeah.
I care less now.
Yeah, you care
Uh,
less over time, especially if you've like reached something like partner, which I know you have at
yeah.
least, but like once
Well,
you
I
hit
mean,
partner, you have something nothing to really strive for anymore. You like hit the
dude, the
important
partner
Twitch.
shit's a meme. Like,
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, no one gives a fuck that I'm partnered. Like, yeah,
Sure,
if I go to
but
TwitchCon, like, and
yeah.
when you like type in the chat, they're like, "Oh, you're partnered" or whatever. But like, Twitch doesn't give a fuck about me. Like,
No,
they don't. They've
of
never
course they
sent me
don't.
anything. They've
But
never.
oh,
Yeah.
they never sent you anything?
No, they've never sent me
I think
anything.
you
Like,
well, they will if you like fill out something. Well, you know
I
that
don't.
giant blanket Rupert
Yeah.
has on his background that's his
Yeah.
partner? Like they'll give that to any partner, I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure.
They sent that to him. They sent shit like that to other people that were
Well,
part. He was
I
partnered
mean,
around the same time as me.
I think you have to fill out a form or something.
Yeah, so they said in the email, but I never received anything in my email. I've
Oh,
never, yeah, I've
well,
never
then
gotten
I wouldn't
like,
know.
yeah, it's
Okay.
just like it's fucking weird.
Yeah,
Like,
that is weird then.
yeah,
But
I'm
anyway,
like,
my point was just that
yeah,
that's like the last thing you ever need to do as a streamer, really. Like
yeah,
sure you can keep going, but there's nothing to like strive for anymore. That's like the peak of streaming, I guess, in a sense.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to, like make good content. I
Well,
guess like
yeah,
that's just what I think about. I want to make like YouTube content and stuff. I just really am shit at editing, like
oh yeah,
really fucking
I
bad at it. Yeah.
I feel that.
Um, because I have a lot of ideas I think are good, but like I just, and I don't even really care that much if I don't need something to be like popular. I just need to be good. Like
Yeah,
if I make it and it's good, I will be happy. But
yeah,
if I make it and it's shit, I'm gonna be not happy.
yeah. That's how I feel. Like obviously, if I cared about just being popular and my numbers, I would have quit 5 years ago
Yeah.
because I'm a fucking nobody. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's all just a lot of stuff to
Yeah.
think about still, I guess. But yeah, I have
Yeah.
content ideas. I think I wrote a script like 1.5 years ago. I don't think I'll ever use it, but it's a fully
Yeah.
written script. I did do that.
Yeah, I have some like that as well where I've like
Hmm.
written like partial scripts or like close to full scripts. It's just
Yeah.
like I have a project I want to do that but I want it to be like good before I want to be it to be a good
Hmm.
video before I actually make it. So I have to like learn a lot of stuff before I can even make it. So it'll
Got it.
probably never even get made, but
Yeah, because
um
yeah, editing
hope
you need to
yeah.
learn a lot to edit.
Yeah, I just don't have time. Like
Hmm.
I don't have time to do it. I work and then I do this and that's a lot of time. So I'd probably have to give up streaming. Like
Yeah,
to
that's the other thing.
yeah.
Like streaming such a huge commitment, and if you want to do
Mhm.
content creation on the side, you almost need to be full time to have the
Yeah.
time to do that. Like if
Yeah.
you have a normal job, you just don't have time.
Like if I was still in college, like I could do it
Yeah,
because I had
exactly.
enough time. But like now I'm like, no, I fucking a lot of my days are I work from 8 to like 5, 8
Mhm.
to 4 to 5, between 4 and 5, and then like I fucking make food. I might take a short nap and then I stream if like those are streaming days. So and if I do that, I have no time for anything else in life. Like literally
Exactly, yeah.
I can't fucking spend time with my dog. I can't play any other games. It's just like it's a miserable fucking existence. Like
Mhm.
yeah, it's not it's not ideal. So, you know, I I'd like to build the stream more, you know. I see it like it starts to do better and then I just like I kind of I don't know. I always like fuck it up. I always like stop because
Mhm.
it gets and once I stop, it gets hard to get going again.
Yeah, that's how
But
I am exactly.
yeah,
Like
but
now I haven't had any motivation like the past few months especially.
mhm,
And then like last year, like I've my motivation has really been lackluster. And I think part of it is
mhm,
because I've like, I've watched my numbers fall off. And
yeah,
when, like, even if you don't care that much, like, it still gets in your head, especially if you have
mhm,
some sort of mental shenanigans. And then
mhm,
your motivation dies. And then if you try to get it back, it's still going to be worse. And then it's just a cycle until it becomes nothing.
mhm,
And it's hard to, like, I don't know, like you spin the wheel and it dies down and eventually it stops and it's hard to spin it again, I guess,
mhm.
and keep everything moving along.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I
I
suffer
used to
with.
care. I used to care way more about like the numbers, but like I
Hmm.
think I don't really care if like people are act as long as people are active. Like
Yeah,
I'll care about the numbers if I stream a different game and there's like fucking no one in there. It's just like
I care
I'm
less
just
about the
like
numbers themselves,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'll have like dry spells of not having chat for an hour, and then
yeah,
that's just me sitting here alone, and that's when I start
hmm
getting in my own head, and then that's when I start
yeah,
getting upset, and that's when I
yeah. I get that.
give up,
Yeah.
and it's vicious cycle. That's
Yes,
more what I suffer with.
that's the word. That's the part that yeah,
Hmm.
same. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't care if I get like 50 like I'd prefer like a 40 viewer stream where people are like talking and we're
Hmm.
having conversation versus like having 150 people in the stream that are just fucking silent. Like I've
Yeah.
had both and like I'd rather have the first one even though
Yeah.
like the second one's bigger like for
Yeah.
my stream growth or what like I don't
I
fucking
care
care
more
that
about
much.
the engagement in the community rather than,
Yeah.
ooh, look how big my number is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, but it's just hard to, if you're not there, to have the motivation to care, I guess.
Mhm.
And it's hard to overcome that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for you, like a lot of changes you made are good. I just yes, if you I think if you just like were consistent and were like, hey, I'm gonna fucking stream 5 hours from these times like
Yeah.
every day, I think you'd see a lot of growth. I think you would get,
Consistency
you
is the
know,
hardest thing for me because sometimes I'll
yep,
wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to
yep.
move.
And you
And
have to
then I
do it.
won't.
You
And you
have
have
to do
to,
it.
yeah.
You
You
have to.
have you
Yep.
almost have to treat it as a job. Like
Yep.
you're
You do.
obligated for this.
That's how I got partnered. Is like
Yeah.
I had to. I like every fucking day. It has to be a five
Yeah.
hour stream.
And I have no excuse because I'm
Yeah.
currently like not employed or anything. I DoorDash. That's how I
Oh,
make my
okay.
money. And even that I don't do frequently. I don't know how I'm
Yeah.
alive. But in this economy, but
Yeah. Right.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It just yeah. It fucking it sucked because it was the same thing. My sleep schedule got really fucked.
Mhm.
That's why.
Yeah,
Like
I have problems with that.
that's how my streaming initially fell off. Is it got really fucked up.
Mhm.
And then I was just like, I gotta fix this. And then I was like, okay, I fixed it, but now I just like don't want to stream. I don't have any motivation to do any of the speedrunning stuff at the moment. So then I had to find that again.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it was just a lot of. I blame SMB one any percent for that. Honestly, like
It ruins
kind of,
lives.
yeah, kind of
Uh,
did for a bit, but
yeah,
it's okay.
I feel that. Uh,
That's that's maybe why I shouldn't do 455.
well, Warpless is better, so focus on that and you'll be happy, I
Hmm
guess.
At least you get to play the game. Yeah.
You know, Worples is better because you get to play the whole game,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and
the
you
thing
don't
I
have to
you know.
reset every 2 seconds. Well,
Yeah,
I guess I do, but
you do. Yeah. Most people. So,
yeah, most people don't.
yeah. That's what I like runs like that where it's just like I'm not fucking stuck in playing like 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yep.
fucking cringe. Like just no, I don't want to do it.
I
Don't
think
want to
that's
play
why I've
three
been
levels.
getting more into 64. Although people I know have been doing like races at midnight, so I've been joining that, and that's why I'm PBing a lot recently.
Hmm.
But it is
Okay.
much more fun. It's hard to balance it because, you know, like when you grow a stream a certain way, like everyone expects you to play something specific. So if you play anything else, like no one's gonna be there, and you almost just don't want to. But then
Yeah.
you don't have if you're, you know, bored out of your mind since you've been grinding something for so long, you like don't want to. So then you just don't at
Hmm.
all, and it's like it's a hard balance. Is what I struggle with. It's
You
all
get
that bullshit.
the thing about it is you'll get different people that'll come in though, and
Mm-hmm.
some of those people will stay for like the other stuff too. So it is kind of good to branch out to
Yeah,
other things. But there's kind of a way to do it, and if you're as long as you're still speed running, it's like close enough that like you'll
close
probably
enough.
retain
That's my motto in life.
60%. Yeah, you'll probably keep like 60% of the
Yeah.
people there, but like if you do an entirely different game, like you'll probably keep like I don't know, I usually keep like a third, 20% to like a third for a different game. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you see it's pretty consistent for most people too. Like, Mitch will go from like 1,000 people today to if he goes and streams like Zelda, it'll go down to like 300. Like it just
Yeah,
yeah,
it happens to everyone.
yeah. Um, the people it doesn't happen to are the people who have like conditioned their audience to get used
They're
to
like
that,
there
and
for
they've
the
like
person, not the game.
yeah,
They're there for the
they've built the
personality.
community. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's really hard, and those people are really good at doing that, and I'm
Yeah.
not as good at doing that. So
I have no personality, so I can't do that.
I think I have one. I'm just very bad at like community building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just I
Yeah.
think it requires a lot of like uh figuring out how to engage, and I just don't have time to do it. So
Yeah.
just like, communicating with people, keeping them engaged, getting them excited about like new stuff that's coming up. So yeah, it's like everybody I've seen that's really good at that is really successful because like Mitch is pretty good at that. Pooh's great at that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like X Water's really good at that. So that's why he's gone from like I think when I started streaming, he was probably like 100, 200 viewers. And now he's like, halfway to 1,000 usually, if not more. So he's done really well. Um, Oats and Goats, dude, is like he was a
Mm-hmm.
200 viewer streamer when I started, and he's like thousands of people in
Thousands.
there
Yeah.
now. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of wild. So,
Yeah. So it's definitely
um,
possible.
yeah,
People have cracked the code.
hmm
Yeah.
it's just they put a lot of time into it,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's the big thing. Yeah.
It's all interesting. I liked trying to figure out how it all works.
Hmm.
Even if I'll never do anything with it. It's just
Hmm.
interesting. It's interesting information.
Hmm. Yeah. Agree.
Anyway, were we supposed to be talking about speedrunning? I forget. Is that what we
We
were
talked
here for?
we talked about a lot of things. Yeah, I
We
mean it's
did.
speed running. It's all related.
It is. I guess. But yeah, it was a cool tangent though. I like again, I do truly find all of that interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, It's just
Yeah.
it's hard to do it. Like you can learn about it. It's hard to execute your
Hmm.
knowledge on whatever, and sometimes you just don't even want to.
Hmm.
You're just not the right person for it or something like that.
You're sacrificing a lot, but like if most of the people that are at that level, they didn't have much else going on either.
Mhm.
So it's easier, I think, to do in that situation because you don't have like other things that you're as worried about at the time,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's rare to see people that have like a normal job, and then they end up getting into streaming and end up blowing up. Like I think Barb is rare because he was the teacher.
Mm, I didn't know that.
So yeah. So I think
I
someone
know
like that.
Auth's
I
a
think that's
teacher,
rare. Yeah.
and
Who off?
he is Auth. Yeah,
Okay.
he's got a pretty big stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like
He's the same
massive, but it's
size.
pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the same size as all those other guys, pretty much. So
Yeah, which is
yeah.
like the good spot to be, I think.
Yeah.
That's like the optimal spot. Is just
Hmm.
consistent like hundreds with chat interaction, and then you can
Hmm.
do whatever, and there's at least someone. It
Hmm.
seems like the optimal stream to me. I think any larger than that would be too much, unless
Hmm.
you're into that, which most people at that level are, and they strived for that, so it makes sense.
You just have a different chat, I guess. Like, with my chat, I don't really uh I'd probably moderate a lot heavier if it was more people because like it would get out of control a lot
Oh yeah,
more. Because like now when people say dumb shit, I can just kind of like clap back real quick and they'll just,
they'll shut up.
that's like the end of it. Yeah, it's like not. Yeah.
Got them.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like all right guys, we don't use those words in the stream,
Mm-hmm.
like not going to ban you this time, but it's just like don't use those words.
Mm-hmm.
I get you may use those words with your friends or whatever, but not here. So I mean, depending on what it is.
Yep. Well, all right. Come back quickly, please. Oh, this is a long one. Damn. Oh, this is a super long one.
Stuff like that.
Oh,
You know.
my internet went out for like 15 seconds.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's loading.
Um, oh, okay, there it is. All right, so I missed that sentence.
Oh, I was just saying like it'd have to be like way heavier with the moderation. I think
Mm-hmm,
like
yeah.
um, obviously if like people are coming in saying racist shit, I just ban
Oh,
them.
well,
But
yeah,
like
obviously.
yeah,
There's
like
zero tolerance for a lot of
yeah,
things
yeah.
like that, but
But like some of the ableist stuff, I'm like, okay, you may use
mm-hmm.
this with like your friends or whatever. I don't really
Not
care
here.
that much, but just like don't, yeah, because there's people where that in the stream where that probably really bothers them, and I just,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's important stuff.
yeah.
Um,
So I don't, so
well, anyway, I like talking about streaming stuff, but I'm gonna steer the topic away, and
okay,
I don't want my internet to go out again, so might want to. Well,
wrap it up.
maybe, but it lasted a while that stretch. But um, you just talked about running a lot of Mario games in the future, but is there anything
Hmm.
like non-Mario? Because I feel like that's all I've seen.
Oh, I mean, I play RuneScape as well. I've got a hardcore Iron Man account, so it's an account
Okay,
that hasn't died, and it's getting into
I
like game
know
stuff that would be
nothing of
kind of interesting.
RuneScape, just to let you know.
Yeah,
So
it's just like a click RPG basically.
yeah,
So yeah, I've got to learn a fair amount of shit, but like, uh, I guess the interesting thing about like playing that is like the account hasn't died yet, so you know making it through content without dying, and some of these grinds are like going to be super dangerous with all these bosses and shit,
hmm.
and I've got to do it since I'm an Iron Man. I've got to do it all on my own, so it's kind of
Hmm.
yeah. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I play some other games on occasion. Like I played Elden Ring when that comes out again. Um, the DLC, I'll probably play Elden Ring again. Um, and yeah,
That's about
I
it
don't
though. You're
24
mostly a
hour
Mario
stream, I
guy.
guess.
20.
Yeah.
You do 24-hour stream, which is insane. Like you have the
Yep.
channel point redemption for that.
Hmm. So I got one of those coming up, so I'll be playing different stuff there too. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, like my gaming, you know, with speed running, I mostly have to like focus on whatever I'm running.
Yeah, the
So
Mario
it's my
stuff.
time. Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Um, is there something you like? want to run but have no plans to at the moment?
Uh, I don't know. Um, Mega Man's like those runs seem interesting, but
Mm-hmm.
I've thought like maybe one day I would run them, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get to it. I just
It is a commitment.
yeah, there's just so much Mario stuff that yeah, I don't really
There's so much Mario.
I don't yeah, I don't have a ton of and even like modern Mario, I don't have a ton of interest in running. Like I just don't the 3D games to me, like just 3D games in general is always like, all right, what's the fastest way for us to get out of bounds and skip shit? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's just what it always seems to be with all of them. And I just that doesn't seem that interesting to me.
I get it. Yeah. I think it
Um,
depends. What's fun for me about 3D games is if they have really good movement. Like Mario
yeah.
64 has good movement, so that's fun.
Hmm.
Even if you, and you, I guess that game's a bad example. You rarely go out of bounds.
Right. Yeah. And that's why
And when
I
you go out
like
of
that
bounds,
one.
it's just cool.
Yeah. So, because that's it's a nice thing about Mario 3 is like you mostly are just playing the
Yeah,
game.
you're just holding right and running
Hmm. So,
with P speed,
yeah. Yeah.
which is a
And
can
even
of
the other
worms.
ones, it's just like you do a little bit out of bounds, but they're like clips where you
Mm-hmm.
skip usually sections that are just there's nothing anyway. It's just like boring if you were to just play it. So it's nothing. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
you're missing out on a lot. Like you're not missing out on 7-1. You're just not.
Oh no.
You're just there's it's just
You want to see 7-1? Watch an any percent run.
yeah. And even then it's yeah, I mean, that's
You get the
probably the
gist of it
coolest
from that
way.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the coolest way you can play 7-1. But like if it was in an if you couldn't clip, you would literally just go in with a P wing and fly to the top. Like it would
Mm-hmm.
be just a nothing level.
A
So
nothing burger.
yep, exactly. So yeah, I so that ends up being cool. Like 7-7 again. Like you're not missing much. Oh, cool. You're missing a fucking star run. Who gives a shit? Like it's
Yep.
not super complicated. 6-9, 6-9, and 7-6. I mean, 7-6 has got some cool stuff, but it's basically like an auto scroller, so it's not the way it's designed on the inside. So it's not like there's just nothing that would separate like top players in a level like that, if that makes sense. It's just like
Mm.
you ride up the platforms
We
and yeah,
good game.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And 6-9, it's just like you swim to the pipe. Like there's no interesting P speed build or like danger or anything associated with it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Mario 1, like you're skipping a vine climb. Like you're
Yeah,
uh
then you don't really. Well, you skip 1-1, I guess. That's about it.
well, I was thinking like for the wrong warp, like in any person, like you're skipping climbing a vine, it's
Oh
like,
yeah, that
oh
is the only
yeah,
thing you skip there too.
yeah, it's like, ooh, who gives a shit? Yeah, like
Yeah.
you actually made it more interesting with the glitch
You
than it
actually
was
see more of
without
the
it.
level doing the wrong warp
Yeah,
than climbing the vine,
yep.
technically.
Um, other than that, it's like even in 2J, it's like, oh, you clipped a wall going into a fucking warp zone. Like all you were gonna do is run around the top, like build blocks and run around the top anyway,
Hey,
stuff like that.
A through D warpless, or any time you get to play C1, you do a devil spell into a pipe and it takes you to the flagpole. So you skip
Okay,
C1 completely. And
okay,
it's awesome. But yeah, so you need warpless D4 if you want to actually see that level since you can't devil spell in that game.
okay,
Or at least you can do the clip, but you can't go down pipes.
okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, I'd recommend looking at C1 in a FDS speedrun of it, just so you can laugh at how ridiculous C1 is. Cosmic just made a video about, warping and warpless runs, and C1 was an example. So
Where you skip the whole thing.
yeah, you just skip the whole thing. The
Is it
first
a
pipe
good
in the game,
level?
you go down it, and then flagpole. That's the level.
Nice.
It's
Is it a good
pretty.
level at least? Like
It's
if you didn't
actually a
skip.
pretty cool level. It's very
Hmm.
long normally,
Okay.
so you're saving a shit ton of time doing it. But yeah, so like in a
So
warpless D4 run, like it's pretty cool. It's just
so
basic
you'd
platforming, but there's a tricky jump at the end.
you'd rather skip D3 than that level is what you're telling me. Like you rather swap
Oh,
them around.
C1's not hard,
Okay.
so yes, D3 is a shit show. Please
Yeah.
get rid of it, please. Yeah, that's fine by me. Uh, any runs you like watching but don't play or plan on?
I actually watch a fair amount of no hit runs for like
Hmm,
Soulsborne games.
interesting. I don't
Yeah,
know anything about Souls games really. I think I played Dark Souls for 30 minutes and was like, this game is not for me. And I only was
yeah.
playing it because I got it for free from some Xbox thing or something.
They're obviously really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing that's cool is like there's not a time limit on those runs. Like you could have no hit speed runs, I guess, which is not really a thing, but they've done it as a thing
yeah,
for like competitions. But it's just yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of ways you can choose to route it, and like everyone seems to kind of do it differently. And there's a lot of math involved in terms of like, okay, I need to boost myself like this, so I hit like this exact amount of HP on the boss, so I can get him to do this, which allows me to like kill him without uh, having any risk or like
yeah.
having minimizing risk basically. So I think like that's really interesting. The Happy Hops doing the God Run 3, which is all of the FromSoft games
Mm,
in order, uh, including Elden Ring now. So that's the difference between 2 and 3 is
and that's
they added
damageless.
Elden Ring. Yep.
Oh my
For
god.
how many games is that? 8 games back to back now.
Oh my god. Can't
So
imagine.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. 7 games. 7 games.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's getting pretty late, so I guess we can wrap up here. So, if anyone has a question, feel free to ask now, and I'll just you can feel free to self promote and say what you'll be doing in the future.
Mario 3 100%.
Yes, for the 69, very important.
Yep. That until that happens, nothing else matters.
Fair enough.
We'll see how I feel if it continues for another 4 months,
Yeah.
like it has. I figured I would have had it by now. I'm kind of
Well, unfortunately, there's 7-7.
that has been the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Of course it
the
has. It's
first
7-7.
the very first time I had a chance to PB after 7-7, um, in 4 months, I did just to put it in perspective. So
Yep.
yeah, it's just kind of
Although you did PB by 1 second recently. That's
that's yeah,
what you're
that was the
talking
run.
about.
Yeah.
I forget you had like you got like an OX.
Hmm.
I forgot that was so long ago now, I guess. But yeah, I saw
December.
recently there was a second improvement.
Yeah, I saved half a second over the course of the run. Well, I saved like 7 seconds in the second half, 7 or 8, and then I lost that much in the first half,
Hmm.
basically. Yeah, it's not
That's how it goes.
good. Oh,
Mario 3 moment.
it is.
All right, well,
Damn, no questions?
yeah,
All
I
right,
know.
well, fair enough.
No one watches my stream. We've been talking
Everyone's
about it.
sleeping.
No, it's
Now, there's definitely people in here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lurkers are
Yeah,
appreciated, so
they're
that's
lurking.
the other thing, so it's fine. All right, well, I guess we'll end it here then. So thanks for
Sounds
watching,
good.
everyone, and subscribe to YouTube if you missed some of it, so you can watch the
Yeah,
full unedited thing. And then if you're watching on YouTube, you can follow on Twitch so you can watch it live, and then the cycle can repeat itself indefinitely.
yeah. Good luck. Good luck with these moving forward, and yeah, good luck with your runs as well.
Yeah, these have been fun so far. So
Good.
if there's one thing I can keep the momentum going on, it's this, because this is quite fun to do and pretty easy
Cool.
to do. And I
Yeah.
love doing easy things because I'm a lazy pile of shit. All right. With
World
that,
record
yeah,
holder. Yeah.
yeah,
True.
with 175 world records,
Yeah.
lazy piece of shit. All
Late
right.
shit. Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.